mind. Isn't that what the old folks say? Well, I beg to differ, because there really is nothing new under the sun. We used to think that this generation was stronger than that of my parents. But after learning where and whom we come from, I realized that this was a false narrative. They fought, bled, and died for the liberties that we take advantage of today. So I changed my mind. We are our grandparents. We are our parents. This is where the idea for uppity Negro apparel and accessories comes from. We are the uppity Negroes that defy boundaries, broke chains, climbed mountains, and crossed valleys of hatred, bigotry, illiteracy, and oppression. The statement is simple. The cause is never ending. The sound, loud. Say it with me, Kendrick. I am that uppity Negro.
Hello, I hope y'all can hear me. I tried to do it on my computer again. My computer hates me. Don't talk about. I don't want to hear that it's an inanimate object. I don't want to hear any. She don't like me. So that's where we are. She does not like me. Okay. So hi everybody. Welcome to the takeover. I'm Bobby, of course. And it's Tuesday. It's 7 o'clock. And I have some things I want to say. And I would love, love, love for you to join in on this broadcast. I believe that it's on the Trailblazers Facebook page. But I also know that I'm live on YouTube and a few other pages. So and we're trying to get back on the Uppity Negro page, but for some reason it won't let me. It just won't let me be great. Um, I don't know. It's just not letting me be great. So the topic for today, I literally stole it. I literally stole it from a sermon that had been preached years ago, and it's called "Who the Hell Left the Gate Open?" And just a little backstory on it. So it's a preacher, and he's telling the story that some Baptist preachers have, like a little story they'll tell at right before they say, "I'm about to close," like 20 times. So he's telling the story of a dog behind a fence, and every time there's a little Chihuahua looking dog, and a big dog would walk by, German Shepherd or something, and it would walk by, and the dog would go ballistic. It would be barking and barking all the way down the fence. Then it would go back, and then again, it would do it. It would do it again. Um, it would just keep on. I'm trying to let one of my guests in. Sorry, y'all. There she is. Okay, so I'm just giving a backstory on this, where I stole this. I stole the title of my. I stole the title of my broadcast today. So it's a little dog, and for days and weeks, the dog would yap 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 behind the fence. Um, and one day, the dog is yapping as normal, and it gets to the end of the fence and realizes that somebody left the gate open. And all that yapping, all that talking, all of that, whatever it was doing, it when it realized that gate was open, I promise you that dog's life changed. And that's how some people are. Some people will yap, 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 and talk, 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 talk till they get to somewhere and they realize that the gate has been left open. Um, my take on that is kind of different. I'm going to be going back and forth between that and the story of Samson and Delilah. Um, Coco, if you could be my other hands, I forgot to put it right here. If you could just get me where that is, because
Okay.
people like to be you telling the truth. You ain't making stuff up.
It's
So
Judges 16.
huh?
It's Judges 16.
Yeah, Judges 16. So um, can you put that in the chat thingy?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my technical term for it, and I'm not changing it. It's the chat thingy. Everybody calm everybody calm down. So a sidebar. I did that at work today. I know what it is. It is a glad hand, and there's a rubber piece that goes on there, and it connects the air hose to the truck. Child, I couldn't say glad hand for nothing. I said the do thingy, and I'm looking, and the guys are looking at me like, we can't believe we let her drive the truck. Because I don't know, I can't remember the names of stuff, and that's what I do. So it is what it is. So we're gonna get started. I do not like when people get on and they go, come on in, come on. No, I'm not doing that. Watch from the beginning. That irritates my spirit. It just irritates my spirit. Come on in where? And where are we? No, I don't like that. And I'd rather you just watch it again from the beginning. Anyway, so we were talking, with my thought on that after I called Cocoa, and I talked to her about it, and this smile came on her face, like she was no, seriously, like she was expecting me to call her, or somebody. She was expecting somebody to call her and have this discussion, because this is what she had been. This is where God had led her before I even called her. And I saw that smile, and I was like, "Oh my God, we about to act up tonight." Oh, we gonna act up. I got me something to drink. I will be well lubricated. Oh, we gonna act up tonight. All right. So, I can't. The dog yapping behind the fence was a really good story, and it was a good illustration of people and how confident they are. But I wanted to come from a different angle of who left the gate open, because what I want to do is for all of us to start taking responsibility and being what's the word? Taking responsibility, and the word accountability. Oh, that's the word. And being accountable for the things that we do to ourselves. That has been a theme for me for this show for this month, and hopefully God change it next month, and we can talk about sweet potato pies and what you can, but it's not. We're talking about you. We're not talking about David or Saul, you. Because most of the time, when people dog us with the information that they have, or they give it out, or they bring it back to you trying to pretend like they're telling you your truth, you did it. Because you didn't find the right person to confide in. You confided in somebody over, I knew them for years. That's going to get you behind. That gets you in so much trouble. I was telling, I didn't mean to say it earlier, but I was telling Coco, you people tell their best friends about their husbands and how they are in bed and what they like to eat and how they like all this stuff, his job and how much money. You tell all of this stuff thinking this is my best friend. I'm gonna tell. And now you wondering why they in Cancun and you at Walmart. That's all I'm saying. Now you wondering how she know. You told her. I'm going to get into this because I always say that man should not be alone. I mean that. It is biblically wrong to keep saying I'm a loner. You're wrong. Because if God said he going to make somebody because he wanted to have company, what make you think you don't need no company? Listen, get on the bed, put your hands like this, go and meditate on that. Because if you don't think you need nobody? Okay, we'll work on that. You work on that. I was sitting here and I was thinking about my notes and all that stuff. And I'm sorry. This is the nervous thing I have. My prophet gave me this thing on my neck, and I done popped the chain because I mess with it so much, because it just calms me. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to get to Cocoa, because I don't know what that grin for, honey, but we about to tear this show up. We will be rewind. Listen, this is gonna be 2 hours. I already know. We 8 minutes. I already know we're gonna be at 2 hours, because she might take over, and I might let her, because this is called The Takeover, but there's no name, so it could be taken over by anybody. So, Escape had this song out in the back when I was younger, and it was called "Who Do I Turn To? Who Can I Run To?" Mm-hmm. I loved it, to fill the empty space, and that's what we do. We run to people to fill an empty space, but this is the problem. We are so multifaceted. We have so many layers, and I've said this over and over again. You need to find a person for each layer of who you think you are. For every personality that's in there, you need to find a person to talk to, or to deal with that issue with you. But just because they can help you with that particular issue does not mean that that's the person that you should confide in.
Right.
That does not mean that is the person that you're supposed to give all of your intimate whatever. Oh God, oh Jesus, I got to say it right now. Your children are not stop it. Stop confiding your business with your children. I don't care if it's your husband. Your husband and your relationship is two separate relationships. The relationship you have with your husband and the one you have with your children are different. Stop telling your children about your husband. Stop telling your children about your wife. They're not your friend. They're your children. They're meant to be taken care of and nurtured until they can get out on their own and have their own issues with their own people. But they can't do that because you want to be their best friend. And now you're wondering why he don't, my godmama can't open it up. She said she can't open up the thing. I don't know why. She can't open up. I sent the link.
What is she on? The Trailblazer page?
I don't know. I sent them a link into a text.
Okay, hold
on. So your children are not your confidants. Your children are not your friends. They are not. Your children are a gift from God, but they're not the gift of fixing your issues. Because understand, you had those issues before they got here, and you still chose to bring them here. But they're not here to listen. I can't. I got to get off that because it just irritates me. So if I think people are having trouble, I don't know why, but I sent it as a but I had to do it through my phone. And maybe that was the issue.
Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to
see if you can send it back through my Facebook page. Yeah, because I sent it to my Facebook page too. So y'all give us a minute. Let us do some maintenance. Just give us a quick minute. I don't want people to miss out on, but I don't want to leave out of here either because I might get cut off. So let me try it on my Uppity Negro page. So that's what we're talking about. But give us a couple of seconds to get some and what I can do is I can run another commercial.
Because I don't think it went to my personal, so I'm gonna just share it from
Okay.
Join Bobby for The Takeover every Tuesday night as she tackles tough subjects with her trademark humor and wit. We guarantee you'll be educated, edified, and also entertained. So join us at 8 p.m. every Tuesday night, right here on Trailblazers Radio.
Okay, we're back and we're still working on getting people. So I'm going to try to share it with, she's the only one that said she couldn't. I'm going to try to share it to her particular page. Yeah, because if people want to come in, I want them to be able to see it. It'll only let me share it to the Trailblazer page. Why is that? Y'all give us just a second. Well, I don't think anybody even on here right now, which is kind of good, but I want to share it, but it'll only can I do it like as a comment? Like put that @ sign?
You should be able to.
Okay. So sorry about this, y'all. The people on YouTube who might be watching. Okay, now I just pulled up your show. So in a minute, I'm gonna have to go on, but I'm trying to
well, you keep going. I'm gonna do it from where I am.
Okay. And I don't know why I can't get it, but anyway, let's keep going because I don't really want to waste any time. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, first of all, who can you turn to and who can you trust? But I think that it is a wrong move to trust somebody just because you've known them for years and years. I've known people for years and we're not friends anymore. And some people I know that we're not friends anymore, and I have no clue why we're not friends no more. I just don't know. It just stopped. But some people remain friends with people out of some kind of loyalty or whatever. That's not a good thing either. So, all right. So let me get my mind back to where I was. So again, I got another thing before because I'm gonna forget. This is the book right here. There's gonna be another copy coming out. Somebody said it looked like a National Geographic to me, and it hurt my feelings. But this is what we're going to use right here. This is my book. It's called Ma, and it is a story about my journey from molestation and rape and disappointment and just not being the greatest daughter or sister or auntie or whatever. And the back of it says, my hope is that you read this with your heart. It was not about the molestation or about fear, but about knowing that God is there even when the lights go out, that he is there even when the color has drained from your day. He has angels right there beside you, keeping evil away from you and keeping you out of harm's way. You have to know your place in God. You have to be secure in the knowledge of his love, grace, and mercy. I had to find my way to this type of knowledge. It took years of me trying to do it on my own. I had to come to a place in him where I felt worthy enough to ask anything of him. And that's what we're talking about, being worthy enough to ask anything of him. And in order to get to that place, you have to be accountable. You have to be accountable for some of the things that happen to you, because some of it is you. You are the problem. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to accountability is who are the people that we are confiding in? Who are you telling your business to?
That's it.
Who are you giving free rides inside your mind? Who are you? You're not doing no job. You need to do a whole job application before you tell some people stuff, and you need to do a SLED and background check, because you're obviously not doing it, because you on here fussing and screaming about somebody telling your business. You left the gate open, and because it was locked and closed, and everybody and all of your thoughts and all of your heart was inside of there. And when you left that gate open, you left them open for them to break it. We talking about relationships, we talking about everything, but what I'm really talking about is friendship and the people that you consider your friend. And don't come to me with it. That's why I said, I don't want to hear nothing about that's why you alone. No, it's not. And I told you before, and I'm gonna tell you again without using the foul language I used before. You alone because nobody like you. Nobody won't be around you except that child you barely know who the daddy is, and that ugly dog that looks like a rug. Nobody else want to be around you because nobody likes you, because you're your own worst problem. You have to be accountable for what's going on in your life, because what goes on in your life is what you bring in. If you don't bring it in, and if you don't nurture that thing like it's a newborn, then you wouldn't have some of the problems that you have. So what we're talking about today is accountability. We're talking about people who we confide in and how we choose those people, okay? So life is a journey of trial and error. It has a way of teaching us lessons, and gradually it helps us to learn which people are in our lives it's safe to confide in. This is when we trust somebody enough to share a private matter, believing ourselves to be safe in the knowledge that it won't be repeated or that it won't be used against us. That's the thing. Because being repeated is okay, but using that against me in my weakest hour, that's the problem.
Yep.
That the issue, I don't care who you tell, but to flip that back on to that is why I was so upset when Monique did that to D.L. Hughley's daughter. That's why I was so upset. Because you can repeat it all you want to, but to throw it back at me in a fit of anger or rage or just to get back, that's to use it against me, that's where we come in with the issues at. That's the problem. When we do confide in someone and it comes back to bite, it can affect our trust, both in others, but listen to this, and ourselves. Because it can create, this is where I disagree with what I was studying, because she was saying that it creates shame. I don't think it creates shame. I think it creates a mistrust in others, and it creates a mistrust in yourself, because you made that decision to bring them in. And now you don't trust your own decision making anymore. And now that was my issue. I done trusted all these people and did all this, and I trusted them and I told them all this, and then they flipped it back on me. Now I'm upset with them. Yeah, I already see. them I deal with because I know I don't trust them no more. I won't deal with that no more. But now I gotta lay in this bed in the dark, and I gotta deal with in my mind. Deal with because is your discernment broke? Is my discernment cut off? Because I did that. So now I don't trust my own judgment on people. And then I started to understand why people say I just be by myself. I get that. But in doing that, the trust that you have for yourself is compromised because now you're not trying to get over that barrier of not confiding in people. Now you're not trying to get into that. You're not trying to open your heart up. You're not trying to do it. Now you're not closed everybody off and your mind has shut down. But you can't do that to yourself. You know why? Because you have to be, once you become accountable and you tell yourself or whoever, all right, look yourself in the mirror. All right, I did that. I did that. I made the wrong choice. I did the wrong thing. I told the wrong person, and now I got to live with it. Now, who else God gonna send? Because that's how your attitude should be. Your attitude should be, he gonna send somebody that I'm going to be able to trust. Not I just ain't gonna never trust nobody. That's not. So you don't want to put the work in. So basically what you're telling me is I don't want to put the work in. Because that's what you're telling me. I don't want to put the work in order to get my heart mended back together. Because God is only going to do so much.
Mm-hmm.
He only gonna that people say they don't like that song, but I do. If you make one step, he'll make two. But the problem with that saying is he done already did it. It's already been done. So you walking and making those steps, but the 2 steps that he done made that turn into 100, all you gotta do is catch up. So who do you turn to fill that empty space? Yes, you get on your knees and yes, you pray. But if that was all you had to do, then why was Eve made? Because Adam could have been running it by himself. He was all right. So why give him a companion? Why give him a friend? Because everybody needs somebody. And again, it ain't your turn. Let's be clear. I'm going to keep saying it till somebody get mad. All right. So over the years, I've also learned through the process of setting boundaries, even for those I deem trustworthy. You got to have boundaries. I don't care how much you trust them. I don't care how many collars they wear. I don't care how many crosses and you have to have boundaries when you are confiding in someone. There is a wall that you should not step over when you confide in anybody. Because there's such a thing as too much information. You have to, there's something that you need to talk about, before you talk about it, write it down. Outline what you're going to say so that you won't go beyond the boundaries that you set for that person. Now, they're going to ask questions and try to keep up with your outline. Keep up with what's in your mind. Stay focused on that. And we're going to talk about some different kind of people who like to change the subject to talk about them instead of what you got going on. You start off saying, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it, Coco. I'm going to slow down. And it said, I'm lucky. I have long-standing relationships and friendships with people that I love dearly, but I'm also guilty of oversharing. My apostle will tell me sometimes about all of that I didn't need, not all of it, because that's what I do. I'm a person. I just do not. Keeping the secret of my molestation and rape was the last secret I was ever going to keep. Once I took authority over that memory. That memory I have is I have the authority over that. And once I took authority and stood up inside of myself and shook that off and put that little 5-year-old away and became the woman that I became, trying to become the woman I'm supposed to become, then I decided that would be the last secret I would keep about myself or anybody else. And so, yes, there's a such thing as oversharing. And this is the problem too. I overshare with the men that I'm with. And in sharing that so that they would know where I was coming from, I was really dooming the relationship. I doomed the relationship because they knew too much about me and what was going on up here. because most of what was going on up here was pain, hurt, and we're talking about in my past. Was most of what was going on up here a few years ago was just pain and hurt and doubt and insecurity, which is why I usually chose men who were dependent on me, only me, because I wanted somebody to take care of. You understand? That's what I have to take accountability for. I chose the wrong person to confide in, because in that last argument, they threw all of that back at me. And because I was never a person to do so, I took it. I didn't say anything. I didn't repeat what you told me about your mama. Didn't repeat what you said about you. I didn't repeat that, because when you tell me something, if you tell me something and say, this is just me and you, I first thing I do in my mind, I say, okay, God, when they tell me, just let me forget. I don't want to remember it no more. Just let me forget it, because I don't want it to come out of my mouth at the wrong time, because I value the fact that somebody has the confidence in me to give me that kind of information. All right, so I'm moving a little slow, and I'm gonna get it up there. So I'm not really guarded now, in like a wall, but I do have boundaries. I do have certain things that I don't tell certain people. I do have things that I don't tell anybody about anything. And it's hard for you to believe I understand that, because I have told all my business at some point or another on here or in the book or whatever. But there are things that I do not tell and I do not say, because they're mine. That's mine. You feel me? That's not anybody else's. And I don't want to be that person that wears insecurities and problems on my sleeve all the time. I don't want to be that person. A lot of people do the equivalent of confiding in a stranger that they just met, or with someone who has already shown that they cannot be trusted. You will tell a stranger your business, because in your head you think, I'll never meet them again. I'm just talking. And then when you tell somebody, listen, this is where we're coming in with the problem. If the person that you confide in sits down with you and talks to you about other people's issues, I wouldn't tell them anything. I wouldn't give them your aunt's secret recipe to peanut butter cake. I wouldn't give them your mama's sweet potato recipe. I wouldn't tell them how you feed your dogs and why they're so shiny. Because if they do it to you, your best friend got a best friend. Don't tell me that's not true. Your best friend got a best friend. My apostle taught me that years ago. You telling somebody your business, they telling somebody your business. Because your best friend got a best friend. Promise. Promise. Here we go. And now that best friend has told your business, you have decided that you're never going to have any more friends. It's just going to be you and your children, the ugly dog, and that's it. Go to work, come home, that's it. Me and my children, we always go out of town, that's it. Because that person hurt you so bad, you've decided that your confidence in them is not going to work. It's not going to happen. So this is a lot. So I'm going to skip ahead. And I just got the first point through. So we are, especially women, we're emotional. We're emotional. And in being emotional, we like to talk about them a lot. We like to talk about our emotions a lot. Men don't, not necessarily. You have to get them in a corner to do so. A lot of men, about their feelings. They'll talk to you about what's happening and all of this. But as far as what they're feeling about it, good luck, sis. Just good luck. But there's this new thing going around about these small circles, and I'm only going to look after me and mine. And again, I have said this before. We are not meant to be alone. It is biblically wrong. So no matter how much you love being alone, there's going to come a time when you're going to need to talk to somebody besides your children, because understand your issues were before your children. So they have no idea how to help you because they're too young to understand the issues. That's it. So if you have trusted confidant, you got one, that's great. But if you're still looking and keeping your problems to yourself, it's not a good thing to do that. Talking to someone about your problems is the right thing to do. But confiding in the wrong person can make your situation even worse than it was before, because they're going to dog walk you. Listen, let's go. We're going to talk about, it was Judges. What is it, sweetie?
Judges 16.
Judges 16. Let's talk about Samson and Delilah for a second. Because some of y'all got the Samson spirit, and some of y'all got the Delilah spirit. I was just studying and talking to a few of my scholarly people, and our understanding is that he never actually slept with Delilah. She was so good at comforting him and soothing his and stroking his ego that she didn't have to sleep with him to get the information. And some of us are just like that. We get with these people who have honed their skill in manipulating you to talk about all of your issues. Listen, let me tell you something. Be careful of people who let you, oh girl, she just listens. She don't say nothing when I be talking. You know why? Guess why? Because she's studying you. She gonna dog walk you at some point. Because when you're having a conversation about your issues, there should be some kind of back and forth. But if all she do is listen to keep on pouring the wine, you about to get dog walked, sis. Real talk. Listen. All right, so we have to be careful who we give our hearts to. Because when you spilling out that's your heart. That's your spirit. That's your peace of mind.
Yep.
Hey sis, how you doing? Caramel, girl, you're just caramel. That's all I'm lattes with a little dash of cinnamon in it. I love you. How you doing, baby? So we have to be careful of who we talking to, who we giving our information to. So you glad that all she do is listen. All he do is listen, honey. Really? But when y'all go to parties, that's the person everybody go around because that's where the tea coming from. And you don't think he's spilling your tea? What makes you think that you're so special that they won't spill your tea, but they'll spill everybody else's tea?
Right.
A person that talks about other people will, thank you for sharing, will talk about you in detail. How did they know? Because you left the gate open. So don't be asking who the hell left nothing open. You left it open.
Right.
I'm getting to it, Coco. I'm coming, baby.
Yeah, I go ahead. I'm here.
So if another person talks about other people in a negative way, then there's a good chance that that whatever you said to them is also become the topic of at another party that you wasn't attended, that you did not attend. Remember this. If they talk to you about other people, then they will talk to other people about you. Because I don't know how special you think you are to an individual who can't stop doing this about other people's business. You can look at Facebook and TikTok and YouTube. They have whole channels dedicated to dogging people and getting into their business and talking about them all day long. And then I'll tell you, I'm gonna go real old fashioned on you. If they did it to Jesus, that's all I'm saying. And this is number one, because this is the biggest red flag you're gonna get. If they talk to you about other people, I promise you, they got a best friend they talking to you about. It's and who said that to me today? It's my Krisha. It is the nature of man. Isn't that sad? Is that not the saddest thing you ever heard? It is the nature of man. So, Samson sees Delilah, beautiful, flawless, beautiful chick. She gets him to come home, and then she lays him down with his head in her lap. Now, think about this. And I'm not trying to be deep. She has taken control of the most important part of his body. What is it, Coco?
What?
The most important part of your body?
Oh, his head. His mind.
See, I'm not by myself. This is not something I made up. She has just gotten control. And then if you think about it biblically, you know what? You already know the story. So you know it was his hair, right? She has just taken control of the most important part of this man's body. And you know she sat it at in the most comforting place known to man today. I watched my apostle take members of the church who are hurting or whatever. She said, come in. And she'll put them in her lap. You know why? Because ain't nothing like a woman lap. Nothing. And ain't nothing like a black woman lap. That's why white folks we're not getting into that.
Let me put it this way. It ain't nothing like a man being able to find solace, or what he calls solitude, in a woman that does not nag him. The only nagging he got from her is when she wanted to know what can make him weak.
But in the midst of all that nagging, she still was rubbing his head and giving him comfort. And I'm pretty sure she was feeding him grapes and apples.
And she was.
And so women are the same way. We are the same way, but there's a difference in the comfort that we need. We are the kind of people that women believe in security. If something pop off, do you got my back? I don't care what it is. That's what we believe in. We believe in security, and we want peace, and we want to know that you're going to come in and you're going to step in if something pop off. And that's how women are. We just want to know that in this area right here, we are secure. Men are different. Men need the lap, honey. But some of these women let's go with men too now, because honey, everything is all mixed up. We'll talk about that another show when I decide I want everybody to be mad at me, but I'm working on that show. Understand this. So that lap of that lap of a woman, of a black woman, is a sacred place. I have seen grown men fall into the laps of their mothers and cry like a child. And she put the most important part of him on the most comforting part of her. You understand? And she just rubbed his head until he told her what she wanted to know. Yes, we want to know. Can you stay? You better listen. Boys to men. That's what we want to know. We want to know. Boys to men asked it, but that really is a woman's question. Can you stand the rain? Because these people talk about these tables, and I want to be IKEA. I don't care. But what you better know is, can he build a table, and does he have an umbrella big enough to bring you into the fold? Girl, don't make me change my subject, girl. But we getting to that. I'm going to get to that. So that's the first thing that we have to look out for. That's a red flag. If they talk to you about somebody else, then I guarantee they're talking to somebody else about you and everything you done told them. And you wonder why, as soon as you finish, your husband, as soon as he leave, and he don't want to be with you no more, how he get somebody so quick? Because everybody all over town already know what position he like in bed. They know he pay his bills. They know what he like to eat. They know how. Because you can't keep your A off of TikTok.
It ain't even that. When you find, first of all, you got some females, and I'm gonna say it because I've been there, done that, wrote the book, got the T-shirt about it. You got some females that will get close to another female so that she can get that info.
You see this finger? Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
You got some females that will do that. I had a female that did that to me.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there, Choco. Don't you preach before I get to. Let me read first. You know how you be in church? The reader read, then you get to preach. You preach in a minute. Don't make me go faster than this. The second person you need to look out for is a person that steals the topic. Exactly. You give them a whole blueprint of your life. They know every room inside your head, all of them. Because the topic of today's show, you left the gate open. That's who the hell left it open, you. The next person is the person that steals the topic. You walk into a person, you start talking about your problems and all of that, and all of a sudden they switch it. And they try to revert the attention from your hurt to something that happened to them. People do that to me all the time. I'll be talking, they'll say, "Oh girl, how you doing?" Girl, this new chemo and this. Oh girl, listen, my aunt went through that, and it always ends up with the person dying. I swear, Coco. Every time somebody start off with that, the person died at the end. And I'm thinking to myself, what part of that story was supposed to be inspirational to me?
Right.
Because I be joking with my pastor all the time. I say, people keep calling me. They borrow money and you gonna cook this and you gonna do that. Nigga, I'm the sick and shut in.
That part.
You supposed to be bringing me groceries. You supposed to be offering me gas. I'm the sick and shut in. But it don't matter. Because as soon as they ask you, how you doing? They just keep right on talking because they really don't want to know.
Right.
So understand, look for that person, the person that steals the topic away from you to talk about their hurts or whatever. Because what they're telling you is what you're going through is minimal. And it don't mean nothing to me. That's what they're telling you. Watch for those kind of people. People who don't really listen to you and people who listen too much to you. It just sounds like hard work, don't it? But it really ain't. It really ain't. And so here we go. The next one is, some people ain't good listeners, period. They just ain't. You trying to pull your heart out, you crying on the phone, you hear the baby in the background, you hear spoons. You think, in the middle of you crying, you go, "What you doing?" "Girl, I'm trying to get these." You ain't heard. You don't hear me over here panicking. You don't hear me over here crying. You don't hear me. And you couldn't go in a little corner somewhere and, man, you ain't got nothing you ain't got 2 minutes for me? First of all, your children been bad since 1942. You ain't changing it. They've been bad running around screaming. Your house look like a tornado went through it every time I come over here. So the 2 seconds I need you to be my friend, that's what I need. Not for you to be distracted. And stop talking about you cooking because you can't cook. I quit. That was bitterness. I take it back. I had a flashback of a friend. I'm sorry. Okay, take that back. And the first, watch out for these words right here. "Oh man, yes, that's terrible. It reminds me of this time something happened to me," just like that. Now you can't talk about your issue because they're busy on their issue, because their issue is more important to them than your issue is to them. Unless you're talking about something juicy. When you talk about juicy stuff, they'll interrupt at all. You have to say hello to make sure they're still on the phone, because they listen so intently to everything that you're saying. But you just talk about your feelings and they hurt. I won't hear that. So what they do, they start talking, "Oh girl, that happened to me. Let me tell you what happened to me." But I was in the middle of my, all right. And I do apologize for going. I did have a flashback, but she couldn't cook. So anyway, then you have to worry about people who are not loyal. I'm gonna say this because I'm from the hood. Nigga, if they ain't loyal to their mama, why you think you're so special they gonna be loyal to you? Didn't they just tell you they cussed their mama out? Didn't they just tell you my mama wouldn't help me pay my car note, so I went off? Oh, my mom always, and my sister, all they want to do is give money and money. Where's the loyalty? And it's not that you didn't have to give them money, but the loyalty is not telling them people business, that they needed the money. That's where the loyalty comes in. If they can't be loyal to their people, I used to tell people all the time, I can talk about Trisha, but what you bet, Lord have mercy, what you better not do, Kakoa, is don't talk about my mama. If I come to you with an issue, that's my issue. I can talk about it because that's my mama. But what they'll do is they'll flip that back on you, and the guilt and shame of that is on you because you left the gate open. You let them in. They know every floor and room in your house. I love that caramel latte. I love that blueprint idea. You gave them the directions to everywhere in the house. You didn't keep nothing? Ain't nothing got no cobwebs on it? You let them in every room. And before you let them in every room with your OCD, you cleaned every room before you let them in so they could see every speck of what you. I cannot. This is bothering me because this is who I was. And now shows like this impact me because I have to talk about things that I'm going through. I have to deal with the issues that I'm talking about in a different way because I have to do it in a way that I'm helping you. But like I said, I look into this thing and I'm looking at me and I'm talking to me because I have to be accountable. I can't get on this thing and be, honey, I'll say it again. I told my apostle that day, she said, you know, you're right. You can be anybody you want to on here. Superman, Batgirl, SpongeBob, Patrick, anybody you want to be. But I swear on everything that is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and a pineapple cake, somebody know you in real life.
Right.
And I guarantee you, all they doing is waiting for the opportunity for you to keep on with the foolishness and somebody gonna pull your coattail, you hear me? And it won't be like the one with the issue of blood either, because you will have more issues than you thought you had. Because you done told somebody something. Many things happen to us that we don't wish the whole world to know. So we must have a friend who's loyal and able to keep secrets. This is especially true when it comes to relationship problems. We usually don't want the whole town knowing about our breakup or our divorce. And we know that we're confiding in the wrong person if they're telling everybody about our heartbreaks. They're just not loyal. Now, the person you broke up with, they may not be loyal either. They might be spreading your name across town. We don't know. But that's a chance you took when you married them.
Right, but
so that's not on you. That's really not on you. But that best friend that you told everything about your husband, that's on you, sis. You left the gate open. You let him right on in. Come on in. Set up camp. And that's how everybody know your business. Because your best friend got a best friend. Go ahead, Coco. I see this mouth. You go ahead, baby.
I'm just saying, when you do it to yourself, there's a problem. It don't even take the other person really, because you did it to yourself. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you was your own weapon formed. Because this right here is locked and loaded at all times.
All the time. All the time. Even the Bible says you can't tame it. God said that. Listen, the God who made us said that this tongue cannot be tamed.
And he said it was full of deceit.
It is the nature of man. That is the saddest thing I've ever heard in this context. She literally put tears in my eyes because when she said it, I realized that I'm man. And it is in my nature to hurt people like that. Then that part of my nature, I will fight with everything in me because I won't do it. Not on purpose. But you got people out here, that's their job. That's their they wake up in the morning trying to figure out who they gonna hurt and dog today. That is they so insecure, they're so sad, they so blocked off that they can't think of nothing except hurting somebody else. The nature of man, Coco, caramel latte, the nature of man is to hurt others. Cain proved it with Abel. Delilah proved it with Samson. David did it to Bathsheba. I could go on and on. Bill Cosby did it to those women. Let's come on. You want to talk about it? R. Kelly did it to those children.
Yep.
It is the nature of man. I can't accept that is the. Let me move on because that's a rabbit hole, and I'll get lost in it. And then we talked about this earlier. Not supportive of how you feel. You trying to give them, pull your heart out. You upset, and they're not empathetic, and you upset or whatever. And then you act, and you always know what you're doing. You over here doing something else. Girl, Real Housewives reunion on. But I'm listening to you. I tell people all the time, you can't listen. You can't do both. You cannot listen to someone in the fullness of listening and be distracted with something else.
Yep.
Nobody got that. No, listen, all the superheroes from Marvel Comics, ain't nobody got that superpower. The same thing with I love two people. You's a liar. You can't love two people in the same way because they're two different people. So either you're gonna lust after one of them or you love the other one. Stop that. You don't love all your children the same. You's a liar. One of them is your favorite. You can listen. Y'all got me rubbing my head and I'm trying to calm down. You have to be accountable for what comes out of your mouth.
Yep.
And when it comes out of your mouth, the accountability is that it has to be the truth. My sister was my mama's favorite. It hurt me when I was younger until I realized that is the way of life. I got cousins, I can look at how their mama treat them, or friends, and look, you got one of them that's your ride or die. And the other one you don't understand worth a S. You just don't understand them. Why you can't be like such and such? Because I ain't such and such. The other thing about people who are not loyal is their body language. Watch how when you talking to them face to face, watch how they looking at you. I talked to this guy one day so intently. He kept asking me, why are you looking in my eyes like that? Because nigga, I want you to believe and hear what I'm telling you.
Right.
I don't want to have to repeat this. When I talk to people, I try my best to look them in the eye. They all over the place. They everywhere. Or they right above my head. And when I had some sisters and they was beautiful before they took them, that's what they would look at. They couldn't tell me what color my eyes are. And I change my eye color every week. Because people will not, when they say your eyes tell a lot. If you really if you really look at people and people say, you okay? And then I always say, well, look at me. They look at me and I can tell you ain't okay. Right. When they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and listen, if your eyes are the window to the soul, then why the hell are you looking at all this foolishness? Because it's going into that's another rabbit hole.
See, I was about to go there anyway.
Yeah, well, you go, because I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm not following no rabbit right now.
You gotta guard your gates at all times. Period. You gotta guard your gates at all times. Your gates is your eyes, your ears, and your mouth.
How many gates were around the Ark of the Covenant? 7? Yep. Or 12? I think it was 7.
7.
And they were those gates, you could go in and out those gates as you will to go speak with God. But there was a difference. Those gates didn't need no God. Yours do.
Yeah.
Your gates into your kingdom, into where you pray, into where you confide, into where you cry, into where you talk to God, you better guard it with your life. Because somebody will walk through that gate and rip your whole life apart. Now you ready to commit suicide.
Hey Tar, how are you, hon?
Hey Bobby, hey girl. I'm glad to see you. That's okay, baby. Well, you're here now. We're right in the middle of it. You done let somebody into your gate. They have roamed through the yard, through the house, through the guest house, through everywhere, and they have roamed and they have taken notes. And then they get out into the street, and their best friend, which is not your best friend, is being told all of your business because you left the gate open. And you have to take accountability for that. You have to take accountability for the fact that some people know stuff about you because you told them. And you didn't tell them directly, you just told the wrong person. Because, they've been my friend for years. Or they're a family friend. Or that's my aunt. That's my aunt. But if your aunt is the one at the picnic talking about everybody's business, why the heck would you tell her anything? So let's get away from people. Let's talk about you have to be accountable for the mess that you made by confiding in the wrong person. Period. And so now it is your job it is your job to figure out how to find the right person to be accountable to confide in, to talk to. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna talk to the wrong person. They're gonna tell all your business, and now you're mad at the whole world. But no, boo-boo. That sermon said the whole thing. Who the hell left the gate open? You left it open. You let them in. You talked to them. You told them all your stuff because you could trust in them. But how did you pick that person? Did you not do a sled check?
No.
Did you not do a background check?
Most of the time, people pick people due to the similarities they see.
Because what you going through might look like what in Boo-Foo going through, but honey, in Boo-Foo, and then you know what a lot of people do? A lot of people are making it appear that they're going through the same thing you're going through, so they can tell. So they'll piggyback and ride off of your testimony, or piggyback and ride off. Church people do that. I ain't talking about Christians. I'm talking about church folks who say
Right.
the worst lie ever. God told me. And you ain't heard God's voice since the last Lakers playoff.
Not one time.
What you did was you heard a little tidbit here, a little tidbit there, then you put it all together. Then you came to me so you could get the real story. So you could run back and tell Sister Grapefruit on the other side. Stop picking people who you think are going through what you're going through. I'm going through with this cancer thing and all that. I don't talk to other cancer people, not really. Not unless I meet them at the center or whatever. Hey Austin.
Yeah, hey Simone.
Anyway, unless I have to. They wanted me to join these groups and all this other stuff. What's the point?
Right.
I don't want to confide what I'm going through, they're going through with chemo and the body and all that. But up here, we different. And confiding in you might be dangerous for my mental health.
Right, because everybody ain't on the same page.
Exactly.
When I was going through what I was going through, when I was trying to recover, I didn't deal with people that was recovering. I dealt with people that were already healed. You
better preach in here today.
I didn't deal with people that was still recovering.
Preach in here today.
You know, and that's the thing. We look at people and you look at the similarity and you're like, oh, well, you trying to get where I'm trying to get to. That's the problem.
Everybody is not trying to get to where you're trying to get to. Everybody don't want to be enlightened. Simone, Simone, we're talking about being accountable for you. I don't know if you remember this sermon, but I look it up. It's called Who the Hell Left the Gate Open? And this preacher preached a sermon about this dog yapping until one day he realized that the lock fence that was keeping him safe was open and somebody left it open. So in my twisted brain, I began to think about people who confide in other people. And then they get mad when they businesses all across town. You the one left the gate open, so don't ask who the hell did it. You did it.
Right.
You did it. You did it to yourself. And until you take accountability for the fact that you did this, and you are the only one that can fix it by choosing more wisely who you deal with, it's going to continue to happen to you over and over and over and over again. Because everybody is not trying to get to where you're trying. Everybody don't want to be enlightened. Everybody don't want to go on no journey. Everybody don't want. What we say just now, Coco. Everybody want to put the work in.
No.
Well, they don't want to put the work in.
No.
Being a person that God has called you to be is work, boo boo. Peter was in jail and he worked his behind off to get them churches started.
Earlier.
He worked his behind off to get them churches started.
Yes.
And this is the other thing, Samson didn't just become great with the long hair. He worked to get that reputation. He killed that bear. He killed that lion. He had the bees and the honey. He did it. He worked. And he put his head in the lap of this heifer and gave it all up. And he gave it up and didn't get no coochie. I can't deal with it. Ain't nothing. We talked about this earlier, Austin, honey. Ain't nothing like the lap of a black woman, and she rubbing your head. Nothing. I used to have a boyfriend we black women, we know with the ingrown hairs, and he would put his head in my lap, and he could do that for hours if I let him. Just hours of just me rubbing his head, and because ain't nothing like the lap of a black woman. This is why white women let us raise their children. Listen, go ahead, baby. Go ahead, Coco.
Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna be real transparent tonight.
Go ahead, baby. Talk to me.
Most of the people that know me or know of me know that I'm married now. But before I got married, I had this one person, one of my male friends, that used to come to my house all the time because he found peace when he was around me.
Mm-hmm.
He had a whole girlfriend at home though, but he found peace when he was around me. He didn't have peace at home.
I ain't laughing at you. Austin just ain't got no sense. These people ain't got and then in my head, all of a sudden I'm singing a song. Can I sing to you? Yeah, oh my God, I can't get it out of my head now. You better be glad I don't have your telephone number, because if this song don't get out of my head before I get off here, I promise you, I'm gonna stalk you. Because now all I hear is, can I sing? Not her version, the little ugly boy version. Can I sing to you? Yeah. Oh God. I'm gonna get you. You laugh right there. I promise you I'm gonna stalk you. I'm sorry, Coco. We trying to have an adult conversation and the children came.
I get it. But I'm telling y'all, but it goes back to the whole Samson Delilah situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that male friend of mine used to come over my house all the time because he found peace at my house. He didn't have peace at home. He had a whole girlfriend at home. I knew about the girlfriend at home.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be that. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you come over here to find peace, come over here to find peace. If you needed to chill out. When you ready to go home, that go to down.
Yeah. That is the issue with being in a relationship with somebody, because y'all got things in common. Right. Oh, she like fish and I like fish too. Nigga.
Right.
Nigga. Because if you don't have no peace, if you can't put your head in that chick lap and not be scared she gonna stab you, or she give you your plate and you sniffing it because y'all had an argument, something wrong.
Right. And he would tell me that until one day she called my phone. When she called my phone, I just told her the truth. Sweetie, I don't want what you got. Trust me, if I wanted it, I could have it. Okay.
I'm watching my language. I don't think I cursed up. I think I only said ass or something.
It was my thing though. Like, trust me, I don't want what you got. Trust me, if I wanted it, I could have it, and it wouldn't.
Amen. Amen. Let's preach. Yes.
So you know what I'm saying? So that's not what I wanted, but I let her know. I said, he here because he don't have peace with you. I know everything that y'all have going on, and I really don't want to know it, but I know it.
And that's where that's where the problem comes in with relationships, is that we think because we're in a relationship with somebody, and I'm talking about marriage too. We think that because we're in a relationship with somebody that we should just open up the gate and just tell them everything. And like I said earlier before everybody came in, my problem is I shared too much with the men that I was with.
Right.
And so when it was time to end that, or they were ready to move on, in order to because you got to really hurt me for me to walk away. And so they would flip that back on. They would remind me, well, that's why your mama didn't love you, and that's why you ain't got no children, and that's why your sister talk too much. But guess who talk too much?
Right.
What's her name?
Right. Look. There's a whole lot of them that talk too much.
I did it. I did it.
There's a whole lot of them that talk too much.
I left the gate open. I let them all in. They knew everything about me because I thought not that we were going to be together forever or get married. None of that. It's just that when intimacy brings what do you call it? Pillow talk.
Right.
And you just talking because y'all together and it's quiet in the house and you just talking.
Right.
And the thing about Samson was he knew this heifer was up to no good.
Right.
He knew, and he took it as a game. He took it as a game till he got his head shaved off. His hair was missing. Then it wasn't a game no more. Now it's serious. Now you ain't got no hair and you blind.
Right. That it is so funny that you come with that, because that's what I talked about last night.
Exactly.
Last night, the topic of the show was you can't eat at everybody's table.
Girl.
That was the topic of the show. And
so we know that's why we were trailblazers, because we so in tune with each other on the station. Listen, when I tell you that Frederick Beatty put together a team of people who are in tune with each other, is us. And none of us live in the same state. None of us. But when we share so much information because we want to be accepted, when the best way to be accepted is to leave some of it in the room. Close off some of your rooms. You ain't gotta lock the gate, but close it and only invite those in who you invited in. Don't let the person you confided in invite folks into your business. Because you gotta be, if you don't hold yourself accountable for some of the things that are going on, specifically in your life, specifically about your business that you thought was personal, things are never going to change. Let me read what Tara says. Tara says, my mama would always say, you don't tell a man everything. The right hand should not know what the left hand is doing. Now, I agree with that, but only to a certain extent. I agree with that when you were in a relationship, but I do not agree with that when you were married. Because this is the thing about being married. Your left hand is where you put your ring. Right. So what your right hand is the hand that is dominant if you're right-handed. But let's talk about the left hand. This is where he put the ring at. So how he gonna not know what this hand doing?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We have these sayings and all these things, and I'm not trying to be deep. I swear I'm not trying to be deep. But he puts your ring on your left hand. So your right hand, which is the hand you holding of his or whatever, because you're doing everything else with your right hand. You bringing in the crops, you making sure the children are right, you're doing all of this. Your left hand belongs to him.
Right.
Because that's your dowry. He done paid for that. And you mean to tell me you're not going to let what this one doing? Now, I do agree with the part that you don't tell a nigga everything.
No.
You cannot tell him everything, because what it does is that it gives them too much information and too much room to run amok. I used to babysit children. I used to say this thing. And people say, why is it so messy? No, it's not messy in here. This is ordered chaos. I know the order of the chaos that I have created. I know it sounds like there's that word, I hate when I miss words. Oh, I hate when I miss words. But there's a thing that, I know it sounds crazy. That's not the word I'm looking for, but that's all I can find. But this is the ordered kind of chaos.
Right.
People know they'll go through that. I can't find because it ain't yours to find. I should be able to, if it's mine, I should be able to just walk over and pick it up.
Right.
Because the chaos on this little table over here, I made that chaos, and it's ordered in the way that I can handle it.
Right. But look, you gotta think about it like this too. Okay, so we talking about not giving the men too much information.
Exactly,
right?
Tara.
So think about this. Think about if you meet a guy online. Okay, this guy asking you what you like in a man or what you like for your man.
Oh my God, I hate them questions. Go ahead, Coco.
When you answer this question, you are now giving this man ammo to try to become what you just told him you like.
And don't have the capability or the...
And he can't do it. He only going to do it for a certain period of time. And after that certain period of time, who he really is begins to show.
Why? Because somebody know you in real life.
Okay. All right. So now you have given this person the ammo to walk into your life, play whatever field he gonna play for a little while, so that when he's done and he got what he wanted, he could go right back out the door and do it to the next one.
Who left the gate open?
Okay. Right. So again, it goes back to what we was talking about earlier.
I'm sorry. I just added Creisha. I don't know if she wants to talk or not. Her mic is muted. I think she just wanted to see the show. But if Creisha, I put you in. But if you don't want to talk, you don't have to. But we're just talking about Samson and Delilah. And wait a minute, let me read what Frederick said. Fred says, when we talk about opening our gates, we open ourselves to influence, the strong possibility of the weaponization of emotions and to be heard. That's exactly what Coco just said.
Right.
You formed your own weapon. You formed that weapon. You gave them the ammunition to shoot at you.
Yep.
Everything that you gave them that you thought you were talking about in confidence. And now y'all ain't friends no more. After 20 years. And all the 20-year information she had, she just put it on Facebook.
That's it.
She just dedicated a whole page to you.
First and foremost, let's be honest, folks. Social media is not your friend. It is just that media.
It's a platform.
It's
and you
media.
use it, and you use it in the way that you want to use it. But I'll say this again, and I'll say it until my tongue fall out. Somebody know you in real life, sis. Bruh. Somebody knows you in real life.
Right.
So this little thing you got going on with the red bottoms and all that.
Yes.
Somebody know you painted that on the bottom of them shoes.
Right. That's
somebody know that them lobster tails was bought with food stamp, and your children is eating noodles. Do not play with me on this thing.
Right, but that's right, Simone. But I say that all the time. You got those Christian folk that love to throw that particular scripture out there.
Thank you, Frederick. Exactly.
No weapon formed against you shall prosper. But the problem is you have already been your own weapon formed against yourself.
And then you put it in their hands and teach them how to use it. That's exactly what you do. That's exactly what we was talking about with caramel latte. Yeah. You give them the blueprint on how to build the weapon. Then you teach them how to use it.
Yep.
Because oh my God, because you are looking for a friend so bad. And the thing is, let's since we're being honest and we're being truthful, let's do this. Some of us find the best friends and the best people in life.
Yeah.
And then we sabotage it.
Yep.
We sabotage it with half truths.
Yep.
And whole lies. And then we sit back and watch it be destroyed.
Yep.
Because now you can't, but I don't understand. I used to do that. I used to be a self-sabotager. I was going to hurt me before you did. So whatever, this is why I stay to myself. Stop. That's what we talking about, Simone. That statement right there is why we're on here. Sometimes they build a better, more effective weapon. Exactly, Fred. But let me get back to Miss Austin. I can't see the, is it Miss? Is it Simone?
It's Simone.
Okay, listen, Simone. And I'm gonna say this as a sister that loves you, and I understand why you would say that you stay to yourself. But let me explain to you that it's biblically wrong for you to do that to yourself. There is somebody out there who you can talk to, who will hold it and never let it go. I done told Krisha some stuff, honey, that'll destroy me. And some of the relationships that I have with other people. But I know, hey, boo, I know that I can tell her that, and I know it won't go nowhere. I have told her things that I regret saying after they came out my mouth, but because I'm a talker, but I know it ain't going nowhere. Listen, I love you, sweetie, but you're going to have to open up your heart, and you're going to have to find. Yeah, you're gonna be hurt. We're not discounting the fact that we're gonna be hurt.
Right.
But we have to understand what Krisha said earlier. It is the nature of man to hurt other people. But let me say, I swear on them black flea lies over there on that floor. That is also the nature of man to love, to cherish, and to be friendly. The negative side of the nature of man is Cain and Abel. The positive side of the nature of man is Moses and Joshua. Right. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because I have to do it biblically, because I don't want you to think I'm just giving you my opinion. Hey, Felicia. What I'm saying is, I spend a lot of time alone, not by choice. I spend a lot of time alone because of this. Because a lot of people can't handle this. And because they can't handle it, I spend a lot of time alone. And I also spend a lot of time alone because I don't want cancer to be the only thing I talk about. And a lot of people, that's all they want to talk about with me. And the other reason I spend a lot of time alone is because when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. When I'm in Goodwill, I don't need. When I go to Goodwill, I don't take nobody with me unless I take my apostle, because she know how when you go in Goodwill, you touch everything. You touch everything, and you fight with that old lady over that glass because you wanted it. That's how that when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And that's why I spend a lot of time alone. Because when I'm ready to go out of a store or go eat, I want to go. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to sit in the car for 6 hours. That's it. But the alone that you're talking about, and I see that you say you get it. I'm glad you get it. I want you to get it. I want you to try this week to and look for these telltale signs that we gave you. Look for people who all they do is listen when you talk. What did he say? Fred say we all need folks like that in our lives. Exactly. Folks that folks that are down with us, with and for us. A lonely existence is exactly that. A lonely existence. And all you're doing, Fred, is existing. You're not living.
That's it.
When I want to lay in this bed, let me tell you, let's be transparent. I was so suicidal 2 weeks ago. I had to call Creisha. And one thing about Creisha is she'll stop what she's doing and she'll have the conversation. She's very calm. She's too calm. She irritates me with the calmness. I don't know where she got that from, and I don't want it. Because I'm talking about you. She's so calm. When you up here, Creisha is right here. And she's not going to follow you down the rabbit. I love you too, baby. She's not going to follow you down the rabbit hole of your feelings. She's not finna discuss it. Okay. All right. Then she's going to talk about, okay. She's not going off the subject. She's not changing it. But what she's doing is she's bringing you off the ledge. And by the time I'm finished talking to Creisha, all I want to do is cook or clean up. Because now all that agitation and energy has been refocused. But I quit my job to go work with this guy. And my first 2 weeks, you know what he gave me? He gave me $160. That's it. And I was so devastated because I thought, I heard God. I heard what he said. But I did what I just told folks not to do. I went on. I knew him from before.
Right.
And he sounded like he was going to be on the up and up. And he knew, and he talked to me with respect. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. But I've seen people get robbed and say, ma'am, give me your pocketbook, and they shoot them. You gotta let's go back. I am accountable to whatever is out on the street about me because I left the gate open.
Right.
Talking to boyfriends or whatever, they spread whatever they were going to spread. And so this show is really about just being accountable. I asked that question when I coach, do you want to live or merely exist? Choose love. Say so, Felicia. I don't know if you can come on here. Can you come on here?
All you got to do is send her the link.
Can I send you the link? Let me get her permission. Felicia, can I send you the link?
I don't ask her for her permission. I just send her the link.
Oh, Coco has spoken. And I don't fight Cocoa because she started getting into that prophetic mode. I'm leaving the room. I promise you I'm leaving. How do I send it to her?
I'm sending it to her now.
Okay, see if she can come in for a minute. Because I didn't know you were a coach. I did not know that. And I'm on here talking. I'm not a coach.
So when she come on and you hear me say, hey, Coach Free, that's who I'm talking to.
Oh, okay. But I now I feel not intimidated. I feel like the teacher just called me to the principal office.
But look, okay, this is what she talking about, y'all. Okay, so she talked to y'all about Samson and Delilah, right? Last night I used Samson and Delilah first. So this is not
Don't play with me. Don't play with me, Coco.
It's not funny, but it's funny. So last night, that was my first point, is talking about Samson and Delilah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I talked about the death in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked about Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last point was Jacob and Esau.
Krisha, if Krisha would come on, she'll tell you that before I even spoke to you, I called her first. Krisha, remember I called you, and those are the same names you used when I was trying to find examples. I said I couldn't. That's what I'm talking about. This Trailblazers team is something else. So that just confirms that what we're talking about is on point. I talked to Krisha, and I promise you, I went down that same list of names that you just had from last night, and I didn't see your show last night. So y'all got me in my feelings right now.
Because if she goes into the story of Joseph with y'all, and for the ones that know your Bible a little bit, you know that Joseph told his brothers about the dream that he had. In the dream, he said that they was wheat standing around. It was a circle of wheat, and he was standing up in the middle. So his brothers automatically felt like, oh, okay, so you telling us that you're gonna rule us one day.
Right.
They didn't like what they heard. You can't tell your dreams to everybody because everybody don't want to see your dreams come to fruition, for one. So they don't want to see your dreams come to manifestation. So
and the weapon they used against him was jealousy.
Yes.
He
and
gave
on
it to
top
him.
of that, and on top of that, he was the father's favorite. So not only did you have the dream issue, you had that issue as well. They were so upset about what he told them, they put him in a pit. Went back home, took the coat of many colors that his father made, went back home, covered it in blood, and told the daddy that he was dead. So many years go by, the father thinking that the son is dead, but honey, Joseph went from the pit to the palace, and the dream still came to fruition.
And that is the point. Accountability is what's going to get you out of the pit. Accountability is going to get you in front of people who you never thought you was going to get in front of. Accountability for listen, when you get up there and you got to go to court and God is on the throne and Jesus is trying to be your lawyer because he's the intercessor, he's not going to ask you what they did to you.
Nope.
He's going to ask you, well, how did you react to that, ma'am?
What was your response?
What did you say to that? And good God, I'm not looking forward to mine at all, because most of the things I said to people is words that only Peter used. And so I'm gonna need another lawyer.
Well, see, I see my husband had to get on me today. I was driving today, and when I tell you this woman pissed me off so royally, when I tell you that this woman pissed me off so royally that I went off.
You got road rage too?
I went all the way off.
I got it so bad.
He was like a few inches from hitting me like that, and I went off. He just looked at me with the humblest voice and said, "Babe, just slow down. Let her do what she
exactly." Now, Fred, you are exactly right. But this is also the issue with that, is what I was trying to talk about a minute ago, is that some of us are so self-involved and want to take care of everything ourselves that we sabotage ourselves. That that is the point. We are the sabotagers.
Right.
You feel me? We are the ones that are doing it to ourselves. And that's why we're talking about accountability. Because whatever's going on in your life, listen, what's going on in your life is your life. So if it's your life, then whose problem is it when something goes wrong?
Right.
It's not always. Let me tell you something. I promise you the devil don't think about you as much as you think he do.
No.
You're really not that popular. You seriously not.
You're giving too much leeway.
Yeah, you calling his name about stuff. Oh God, the devil flat my tire. No, boo-boo. You knew that air was going out that tire since last week. Don't play.
Right, but see, this is the thing. When people do that and they say, "Oh, it's the devil," first of all, you giving the devil too much dominion that he don't have.
And he's sitting in the passenger seat laughing his butt off.
Right. And he like, okay, I ain't even had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
He just sitting back looking like, okay, well.
Listen, because he back there talking about somebody get God on the phone, because that wasn't me.
Right.
Because he can't do nothing without God's permission. So now you done tell on this thing here, and he ain't had nothing to do with it. And I promise you, he went to God and said, that wasn't me. Why? Because you won't take accountability for the things that go wrong in your life. Okay, he divorced you. and he was cheating and whatever. So what did you do? What were you doing before all that? Because I'm not saying it's your fault. We're not talking about blaming. We're not talking about victim blaming. We're not talking about fault. What we're talking about is accountability.
It's the two sides.
Because you stopped cooking since 80. You stopped cooking since 1982.
Right.
You wear a bonnet to bed, socks, and a t-shirt that smell like bacon.
But there's always two sides to every
exactly. Well, there's two sides, and then in the middle there's the truth.
Right.
You have to be. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about being accountable for leaving the gate open. And sometimes we, in our vulnerability as being humans, we confide in people that we know ain't worth a good bowl of cereal.
Right.
And I'm saying crazy stuff because y'all know I'm working on the them bad words. So y'all have to put up with the craziness that whatever come out is coming out. It ain't cursing. So you know these people like that because they sit out and talk to you about other people. Why would you think you're so special they wouldn't do it to you? Where did you get that from? If y'all sit for 3 hours drinking wine and eating cheese and crackers, talking about somebody at the whatever, on the job or whatever, and then y'all flip it around and you say, well, girl, let me just tell you what I've been going through. You don't think this heifer taking notes? And let's be clear. When I say heifer, I'm talking about niggas too, because there's some men out here that got tongues that wag like a dog tail when you show it a bone.
Right. I have seen dudes do that. You talk more than the chick do.
So let's not talking about only women. No, it's niggas out here that will gossip you into the ground.
And your actions is chickified, as I call it. I can't.
And you need to check your head. And I'll say it better than her because she's sweet. Check your heterosexual card. Because women stand over the fence and at the clothesline and gossip with the neighbors. That's what women do. You're supposed to be at work killing a deer or gutting a pig or something. So that's another rabbit hole. We're gonna leave that alone because that show is coming. That this thing with this liquid, I'm liquid sexual or fluids. Oh, we're gonna have a show. People gonna hate you. Oh, y'all gonna be mad with me. That's a thing. That is a real term. There's a real term called fluid sexual. That means you float through all of what. Oh, girl, we're gonna have this show, honey. It ain't stop it. No, that's enough. Felicia, I quit. Felicia, you know, man, y'all stop picking at me. You know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. But it's hard not to curse because I enjoy it so much, but I'm trying. But I don't know what that is, Simone, but I'm telling you, that is a real term. It's called fluid sexual, and that means they can float.
You about to make me look it up.
Yeah, they go between. You can look it up, but we're not talking about that tonight because that's a whole. I'm gonna do a whole show on the fact that Target and now Walmart trying to do it too, but not yet. But Target has they don't have a boys and girls section no more. All of their stuff is all in one because the children get to choose. Oh, we're gonna have a show on it. People gonna be mad at me, but I don't care. I really honestly don't care. So anyway, that's a whole nother show. We might do that one next week. Y'all study up on that. So okay. I got my guest coming in.
Okay.
Coach, there she go. Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
I'm good.
Look what you done got yourself in. Look at the mess you done got yourself into.
Listen, I'm always in a mess if Coco anywhere around.
So let me ask you a question. And you're a life coach, am I right?
Trauma recovery.
I told you.
No, she made me sit back because I'm trying not to cry. So wouldn't the betrayal of a very good friend or a confidant, wouldn't that be considered trauma?
Absolutely. I just wrote a whole post about
one more before you go, because I want you to do the whole answer at one time. And would it not be on par? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't like to be.
Hold on 1 minute because I can barely hear you. Let me turn my volume up. Okay, go
Is
ahead.
that better?
Yes.
Okay. So so the first you got, I'm echoing though, but that's okay. That's okay. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. So the first question was, would that not be considered trauma? But my second question is, would that not give some people who was done to over and over and over again, especially by a close person like a relative, wouldn't that other person exhibit some type of signs of like PTSD? Couldn't it be that serious?
Well, trauma can be serious regardless.
Okay.
It's individualized. It depends on the person and their coping skills. All of us are set up with the fight or flight, but when trauma happens and we stay stuck, then that's when we get into the PTSDs and all those other things. But yes, a relationship, regardless to who it is, your family, people that you consider to be friends who are really not friends, co-workers, any trauma can come from anywhere. And it can affect anyone, any age, any color, any nationality, anyone. So yes, absolutely. Trauma from a repeated trauma from a person, but why do we keep allowing it though? That's my question. Why do we?
That's what I just wrote down. What is your coping skills? Is it just to close off from other people or just hop from one confidant to the next?
Oftentimes people do. They become codependent. And so they need that. They need that. Some people have the victim mentality where if that's their identity. Being a victim becomes their identity.
Wow.
It becomes their identity. And if they're not being victimized or putting themselves in those positions, and a lot of times they do it unknowingly because they don't realize that that's a problem.
Right.
And you have to think about people different, the backgrounds we come up in and what we're exposed to growing up as well. Because so oftentimes some of the things that we grow up and what we've been exposed to, that seems normal to us.
Yeah.
When we see the other stuff, the normal relationships, then they look abnormal to us. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends on the person, their background, their exposure, and their ability to cope.
So how do we, because of our culture and it's emerging at a greater rate now, and I'm very, very, very glad for that. But because of our culture, we don't deal with coping or mental health or any of that stuff until sometimes until it's too late. And so where do we learn those coping skills? Because they definitely not teaching it in school. You're definitely not getting it from, because my mom, like I wrote in the book, wait a minute, I gotta do a shameless plug. Hold on. This is my book. It's called Mom. That little girl right there is me. That ponytail is all God and a little bit of grease. That's all I'm saying. My mama was determined to get it in there and it was done. Don't talk about my mom. So my mom was a very, I used to call her Plain Jane. But after she died, I realized that my mom was broken. Something happened to her and she either never told anybody or she told somebody and they didn't say anything. And so my mom, as a broken woman, dealing with me as a broken child, how do we deal with that? How do we stop that kind of cycle?
You know what? And so I can talk about this from experience because my mom also grew up broken. And when you're broken, you give out of your brokenness. All you have to give is what you know, and you're broken, so you give broken, right?
Man, you better preach.
And so then when my sisters and I started growing up, we said, well, we didn't get this and this didn't happen. My mom, and I shouldn't tell her story, but she, her mother, she was raised by her grandparents, not by my grandmother until she was higher up in age. And so that spirit of rejection was on my mom. And then my father was absent. My sisters and I talked about that and the no love, the no hugging, and the things that we missed that we saw other people getting, like, you know, families with 2-parent homes. My mom was a nurse, so she worked 2 jobs and sometimes 3 jobs to make ends meet for us. And she did what the best she could out of what she knew. But again, she did it out of her brokenness because she was lacking something. So now here I am lacking, and I'm raising my children, and I see things, and I say, well, me and my sisters talking, we say, well, we're going to hug our kids more. We're going to kiss our kids more. And so I think at some point, someone has to make a decision in that family.
Yes.
That things have to change, that something is abnormal. Somebody has to recognize it. But as long as you're in it, how do you recognize it if that's all you see?
Yeah. And the thing about that too is it's perpetuated by the fact that, like I said, and I usually say this during the show at some point, I don't have no secrets. The secret that I kept of my molestation and who did it to me, and the rape and who did it to me, was the last secret I would ever keep. When I turned 47, I was determined. I'm done with secrets. And that's why I tell people, you want to talk about my business, go ahead. Because whatever you say, I've been told before. And if it hasn't been told, it's a lie. I refuse to keep secrets. And the fact that this person is still in my family, still doing whatever, is the guilt that I have to carry. You feel me? Because I should have told. And my guilt and my burden is, I know it was done to others because it was never checked, because I never told. And so I believe that's what happened with my mom, is that things happen and it's never checked. You just know that you can't go into Uncle Billy's room. You just know you don't go to the bathroom by yourself at Granny house. You know, don't leave your pocketbook right there. No, tell me, listen. When I go to my people's house, I don't play them kind of games. You hear me? I'm gonna leave my stuff and do what I want to do. And if you touch it, then you can't. Then you have the consequences. Because I'll take this ink pen. Oh, sorry.
What you said is key, though.
I had a flashback. I'm sorry.
What we are raised up, taught what happens in this family stays in this family. Yes. And because it stays in the family, is why the family continues to be traumatized,
dysfunctional.
Generation after generation, and I have seen family where it gets so bad that it starts permeating not just the family but outside of the family.
Yeah.
And so now you can't bring your friends around.
Thank you.
Now you can't bring your friend can't bring our babies around. So
Lord have mercy.
It has to be addressed, but somebody has to be the one. You know, I've been talking. I think I mentioned this last night. Our ancestors went through hell and high water to make sure that we had the freedom, that we were not bound in chains as slaves. Even though we're living in modern day slavery, we were not bound in chains. And we were not, yes, sir, master, this, that, and the other, and being separated and things of that nature, that we can vote. But some of us are going to have to take that role now, because there is still a need, and the need is not necessarily outside of our families. It's within our families. That somebody has to stand up and say something. And so I'm like you. I refuse to keep secrets, because and that's what the enemy wants us to do, though.
Yeah.
He wants us to keep secrets. There's the enemy between my legs. Stephanie, I can't think of Stephanie's last name now.
I'll look it up.
There's a book called The Enemy Between My Legs. The Enemy Between My Legs. Wait a minute. Let me look it up real quick. But anyway, she wrote this book. She lives here in Michigan.
She looking at Coco. Got it.
You got it.
Coco look it up and she'll put it on there.
I don't think it's The Enemy Between My Legs. I think I'm saying her book wrong, but it could be. But I'm gonna find it and I'll put it on here.
It's Stephanie Jones.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So
can you put it on the screen, love?
Yeah.
Thank you, Coco.
So she came. My sister has a women's organization called Women Being Made Whole. One year she was our speaker, and she talked about that. You guys probably could possibly get her on the show, but she talked about that. She talked about how she went and she did tell, but they didn't believe her. And she kept telling it. She's still telling it. And then when she got ready to write the book, she said, "What is this going to do to my family? You know, how are they going to feel?" But she had to free herself. So she wrote the book, and the book is a phenomenal book. And she discloses everything, you know, what happened, who did what, and things of that nature. And it freed her. You know, when we tell our stories, and I'm not saying we all always have to write them in a book. I journal.
Yeah. I think it's very important. I think young ladies should start journaling as soon as they can write.
Yep,
and they should have those books saved up through their lifetime. And then at some point, they can go back to this, and they can go back to that, and they can go back to that. And I think that a lot of times we don't see where, and I'm talking to me. I'm talking to me, Coach Fee. I don't see, you don't make me cry, Coach Fee. I want one show where I do not cry.
It's okay, though. That's a release.
Yeah.
I don't see the progress or growth in my life the way other people see it, because I stop chronicling when I get in a space where it's dark for me. And that is the worst. And I understand it's the worst thing I can do, but I'm so involved in that dark space. Right now we're talking about accountability. And I think that I just told a friend who called me, I take accountability for other people's stuff because I really don't have a lot of issues. I don't have no kids. I got a man, but he in that special college with, you know I'm talking about. You know how black people say he in college. He ain't in college. Okay, so he's in college, and I don't have a bunch of friends around me all the time. I'm mostly by myself unless I choose not to be. And so I saw my nephew today, Coach Fee, and I hadn't seen him since my mom's funeral. He's not even 22 yet, and he's already a drug addict. His sister, yeah. And these are my sister's children. And seeing him today, for some strange reason, showed me the progress that I have made. Because back in the day, I would have drove off and left that nigga standing on that sidewalk, and I wouldn't have cared, because that's how they did me. But I held on to him and cried so much my lashes were stuck to his shirt. And then I came home and I cooked him a meal and I took it to where he was at. You know why? Because that's what my mama would have did. And I think that if we do not journal, I'm trying to get my boyfriend to do it. If we do not journal and chronicle the awful times, then when we progress into better times, I don't see it. Coco tell me all the time, you have, from when she knew me a few years ago to now, because you're talking about accountability, I couldn't spell it because I wasn't accountable for men. Everything that was done to me, somebody did to me. I was what you talked about. I was the victim. And I always called them, I was the victim. If something they did to me, but one, accountability is so freeing. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about leaving. We're not talking about locking the gate. Just don't leave it open for everybody to come in. They have to have permission to come in. But when you leave it open because you confiding in the wrong person, you can't get mad at that person. You have to be accountable for the fact that you just told this nigga all your business. And so you gave them the weapon. And then, like we said, you gave them the weapon and then you showed them how to use it. And you're mad at them. It's you. I was my biggest issue when it came down to men. Go ahead, Coach Fee, because I can talk all day.
So one of the things, Coco, I promise you, everything you talking about, we talked about last night.
I feel bad because now I think people gonna think I plagiarized, but I didn't see the show last night, y'all. I didn't see it.
Tell you something. I'm gonna say this and take it to heart because I'm learning. I've known this for years, but I'm learning even more. I'm a Christian coach, so yeah. I'm learning even more how God works. And he confirms his word over and over and over. And so he'll give you the same thing because maybe somebody else didn't get it. Right. Maybe somebody wasn't there last night that needed to hear it today. Or right. Maybe trying to get a word to me and Coco because we both here and we were there last night. What to continue, because we are in an accountability group together. Yep. So and here you are talking about accountability, but what we have to keep in mind is this. I used to own other people's mess.
That's what the word I was looking for.
I used to own it. Not anymore. Because why? I walked around in shame for years because I had been raped. I wanted people to think I was promiscuous. I got pregnant from my rape. So I wanted people to think that I was promiscuous. I'm like, I'd rather them think that than to know I got raped, because then, you know, it's all the stigma behind the mental health. It's the stigma behind being raped. It's what society has said. I don't care what society says anymore. I'm focused totally 100% on what the word of God says. And so if I sin, then I'm accountable for it. But if you sin, then you're accountable for it. So I'm not going to take that on me no more. And I remember my husband was cheating. He cheated so many times, I can't even count it. We worked in corrections, and one of the girls came to my office. Feet, let's go. I said, where are we going? We about to go kick this beat. You know, she was going off. And I looked at her, and she said, she down there in roll call talking about asking people, do they know you? And she messing around with your husband and this, that, and the other. I looked at her. I said, okay, I'm good. She was like, you don't want to go down there? I told her, girl, listen, I'm too old to be fighting over men. That's his choice. I'm not going to own it. And I'm not going to be ashamed because I didn't do anything. We got to stop being ashamed of things that we didn't do.
Yeah, and we had no control over that.
You raped me, but I'm ashamed. No, you should be ashamed. And if you're not, that's between you and God.
Right. And that's what, Coach P, that's the thing. We're going to have to do another show on just that. The shaming of people and that victim blaming thing. That when I was raped in high school, it was all male policemen, and they kept asking me, well, did you let him in? And what was you wearing when you let him in? And this, that.
I got another one for you on that one.
Yeah, it's like
I'm a sole survivor. Okay, so I mean, I think I wrote a blog, which I was gonna post yesterday. It was a whole Facebook post, but I decided I'm gonna make it a blog. But in that, I talked about that.
Well, send it to us.
Domestic violence situation, okay? And in this domestic violence situation, I had snuck while my husband was asleep, took the keys off his ring, put his keys back in his pocket. I was supposed to work that day. I called in after he left to go to work. I called in, packed all his stuff, took it out in the garage and everything. He didn't know till he came home to try to open the door that his keys was gone. So I didn't let him in. And I called one of the pastors and had the pastor to call him and tell him to leave me. So the pastor, he left, but he stalked me for years. And he came to my job. He came in rooms when I was in rooms with patients. I'm a registered nurse. And one day I walked out of my door. My kids were in the car. I had my back turned, locking my door. And I looked up and he's standing behind me. I jump over this thing to get off and try to get to the car. By the time I get to the car with my key, I couldn't get in. So the system is part of the problem.
Yeah.
All of this. Because police was riding down the street and I started screaming, help, help, help. They came back. And guess who they wanted to take to jail?
You.
Me. Because I wouldn't let them in the house.
And that's how the perpetuation of the idea that women are chattel, and that we are just here to serve, is something that I don't know how we're going to begin to work on that, because it's so deeply ingrained. And the fact that people, let's be clear, the fact that white people have used the Bible as their own personal law, and we're not talking about even legislative law. We're just talking about their own kind of moral compass, and twisted up and taken God's word and made it into whatever they wanted to make it into. I don't know how we're going to fix that, but I do know that this lesson of letting the gate open, and leaving it open and allowing the people that can somehow. I used to think I had something written across my forehead or a radar that niggas could look at, and then they could see how weak I was. And seriously, because I kept picking the same Negro.
Oh, get it. But see, half of the issue is this. When it comes down to people of the other persuasion, as I like to call them, they came up in families where incest is cool.
That's normal.
That's how they were made. Okay, let's just be honest about it. It was cool. That's how they was made. They mama and daddy cousins.
Well, I mean, that's
You know what
the
I'm
queen.
saying?
The queen of England. The people in England, the queen and all that. They just that boy. What is his name? Prince. Prince? The daddy.
Oh yeah, Charles.
The two boys left that kind of off too, but they still didn't. Not the oldest boy did it.
Right.
Them girls is their cousins from down the line. The person that stepped off of that thing was the one who married the black girl. But before that girl, Kate, whoever, that's his cousin from on the line.
Yeah, Kate.
The other girl, Princess Diana was the other they daddy. That was their cousin from it. So this has always been with them.
Right.
And now you got black women out here talking about, well, you know, it was never meant for one man to have one woman. And they sharing. What did you do? I can't. That's another rabbit hole. Stop it, Coach V. We're not doing it.
But see that the biggest thing about it at the end of the day is the reason why they bring it the way they do is because to them it's okay.
Yeah.
That's normal to them. Yeah.
But
that's the reason why you see all of this pedophilia in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, but let me tell you, there is a congressman. He's been running for years, but he keeps losing. His idea is to make pedophilia part of everyday life. His idea is that his daughter, he should be able to do anything he wants to with her, and that the consensual age, look it up. I'm gonna find his name somewhere. And the consensual age of marriage should be 10, because children know what they want by then. Whether it's male or female, a man should be able to marry whoever he wants to marry, because the man is the head. Where you think he got that from? Right. He took part of the word and then twisted it around to what he wanted. He said he owns his daughter and his wife, and his wife said, yes, that's true. So he has the permission of his wife, who is just as stupid as he is, he's able to do anything to his daughter. So he wants it to become a law.
But see, that's not the only one that's doing it. You got a judge that does that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's a judge that they just now decided to disbar him and take him to Supreme Court because they know this stuff going on.
They've been know this stuff going on.
To go through.
People at all levels doing this, and the problem is these are our lawmakers and law enforcers. I mean, but we have to look at the climate that we're in. You know, I always talk about that, and I'm not one who turns on the news often. No. I'm not a news person, but the reality is everywhere you go, it's a rainbow this or a rainbow that, and different things.
Coco, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Coco, take over for a minute.
Gotcha.
So, but there are like the sex spirits, sex demons, and things of that nature. They are running rampant and have been. Like before, people used to hide that kind of stuff, but now everything sexual is open, and for them it's okay, but for God it's not. And so I think we talked about that last night. Man's root laws of versus God's.
Right.
And so now this is the thing: render to Caesar what is Caesar, and to God what is God's. All of it's God's. And when it's not lining up with Scripture, then we can't do what Caesar say. And I said, as an ordained minister, they can try to force me to marry people that I'm not in agreement with if they want to. And they can go ahead and take me to jail because I'm not doing it. They had a lady here in Michigan. I think she wouldn't make a cake for somebody.
Yeah, and she got fined $150,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? This is her business. Yeah. She should be able to choose who she wants to. And if we don't pay close attention and really pay, like you talked about discernment a lot last night, and discern these people, we're going to be in a world of trouble. And not us per se, but I mean the world at large. But of course, we are of the household of faith and God is going to protect us. But there are some, like we think about back to biblical days, the apostles, they got hung, they got their heads cut off, they were put in boiling water. So don't think that can't happen again. It can. Right. And
not just the apostles.
It will. Yeah,
not just the apostles,
everybody.
Remember what they did? Remember when they started killing the prophets off?
Yes.
So it wasn't just the apostles. They started killing the prophets
The
off.
Christians, period. That's what Paul was known for. But that just goes to show. Now, if we want to talk about discernment, let's talk about Paul.
Yeah.
Paul knew that scripture backwards and forwards, in and out. But yet the very people that the scripture was talking about and called God's chosen people were the very ones he was killing because he didn't have spiritual discernment. So we can know that word, but if we don't discern what the Spirit is saying, we're in trouble. I wrote a paper on Paul. I'm like, Paul, come on. And you had to have a Damascus Road experience to realize.
You had to have your whole name changed, baby.
Come on, you had to go through a whirlwind.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is now when you look at what's happening, like I said, like we talked about last night, Revelation is playing itself out. At the end of the day, if you look at the 175 people that they caught that was trafficking people in the state of Florida, all of them were ex-cops, FBI agents. I mean, people that's supposed to be protecting people, but they were all a part of this big trafficking ring.
That's what I said. How do you think they get away with any of it? How do you think the drugs? We couldn't bring drugs and stuff that is coming into our communities. We couldn't bring that kind of drug in the system unless some of them was helping.
Right.
They initiate all of this stuff, and so we have to be really cognizant. I mean, what are we doing?
Right.
At some point, like discernment. There's some stuff. I mean, I know common sense is not common to everybody, but come on now.
I posted. I think I was able to share it. If I wasn't, I will share it tonight. Where somebody sent it to me in my WhatsApp, where Pfizer made a comment. The guy that's over Pfizer made a comment and said, yeah, by the year 2025, we had planned to wipe out 55% of the population anyway. And he just said it like it was nothing. Now he said we. So now when you sit back and you telling people that COVID was released deliberately.
I believe
Monkeypox has been released deliberately. All of these diseases just didn't by happenstance come out. They were released deliberately.
Absolutely.
To wipe out a certain amount of the population.
Absolutely. Population control.
Right. And this is what's happening. So at the end of the day, if you're not understanding and you're not hip to, and you don't read and you don't research, because you can go back and you can research how when this stuff originally came out, how often they released it. They released a new disease every so many years. So many decades ago by, everything cool. Then you got a decade that pop up, it kill a whole bunch of people, and you trying to figure out why. It didn't just pop up.
TV. But you know something else too? I think it got out of control this time. I think it got out of control because some of them ended up dying. And so you know what I'm saying? And but now they're trying to counter that by the Roe versus Wade thing.
Right.
They want to kill off some of us, but they still need people to come back later. And you know what? It's just think about it like this. When you at a job, at some point they want the old people to leave because they have got complacent. They could be a problem because they know too much. They want to bring on some new blood that they can train and teach to do the things that they want them to do. That's what this is all about. Right. And listen, I'm a registered nurse, and when I started hearing this stuff, I'm like, so what's wrong? Is what they taught me 30-something years ago in nursing school wrong, or is what they're teaching now wrong? None of my family is vaccinated.
Right.
We didn't trust it. And now look, and when I say my family, I mean my immediate family, my children, my grandchildren, and I. Some of my siblings are. My father is totally vaccinated, so is some of the other people in my family, and boosted, and still caught COVID.
Oh yeah.
And when I caught it, I was the sickest, I will admit. But some of them were almost as sick as me. It just didn't last as long as mine did. But now I have natural immunity. And this immunity that they gave them is not natural. And it's not real immunity because every time you look up, you got to take another booster.
Right. Right. And I have a cousin that's fully vaccinated that has caught it 4 times. You fully vaccinated. Why are you catching it so often? I mean, your system ain't good yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if this vaccination was supposed to do, why are you so susceptible to it?
And so, yeah, so let me say this. I went to several classes and trainings with the CDC, Wayne State University, which is like a big medical center, medical school here, and the CDC, and different pharmacy, high up pharmacy people. And all they could tell us is they didn't know about a lot of stuff. And it's funny thing is this, wasn't a lot of African American people on there, but I was really close with the lady at that's over part of the Wayne State University infectious disease program, because she used to come to the jail a lot. And so the problem with that was everything she sent me, I take. It's free.
Right.
I get my CEUs for free. So I'm like, shoot, she got a class, let me take it. Wasn't a lot of us on there, but they were talking about us. And they talked about how Pfizer and Moderna did not work well for our population. Didn't work well for our population. And it talked about their studies and how their studies did not have a large turnout of African American people. And that Johnson & Johnson had a large turnout, not just in America. They did all of the world, including Africa, a large population of African American. They had no deaths and they had better results. So why do you think they got attacked and all of a sudden having people with blood clots and things of that nature?
Right.
Now, I have one sister that took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Her husband has had it twice. She didn't get it. She got it the first time because she wasn't vaccinated. They weren't even offering vaccinations the first time. But the last time, she did. Everybody around her, she went to my mother's birthday celebration. Everybody around her was sick, but her. She didn't get sick. So even with these vaccines, we have to be careful. And if Pfizer said that, I totally believe that that's what they did. I hear a whole lot more things on Clubhouse. They have different groups on Clubhouses talking about it. And this is a whole different thing than what we can imagine based on what biologists and top physicians are saying. And so many people have left the medical profession, doctors, nurses, and all, because they didn't want to have no parts to do with it.
Right.
So
I saw a doctor make a video. He said, I came into the medical field to be a help, not to kill people. And then he went into detail about why he said what he said. And when you watch and listen to his video, you just like, wow. Just like all of this stuff that y'all coming up with, you making, it has stuff in it that you know will harm somebody. So they had an issue with him when he was working in a certain office that he was working in, because he started taking a holistic effect. I mean, he started taking a holistic approach with his patients, and they had a problem with that because his patients was coming back okay, and everybody else's patients was still coming in with problems. And you know, one of his colleagues said to him, well, you know, if you keep healing your patients, you ain't gonna have no money. And when his colleague said that to him, he just looked at the colleague and he just said he walked out and never went back.
But see, and I learned that since my motor vehicle accident. I have cried so hard. I said, Lord, I'm ashamed to be a part of the medical profession. But then when I thought about it, I'm only responsible for what my practice, and as a nurse, my practice was to advocate for the patients, not the physicians. So now I understand why I had to argue with so many doctors about things that they want to do to the patients that I didn't agree with.
Right.
give them medication and you don't even know what their lab work look like, and they can have the same symptoms if they got too much. So why would you want me to give them more? Why can't we wait for the lab results? No, give it to them. I'm not doing that. You can get somebody else that's willing to do it, but I'm not doing it. And so that's why, and see, the problem with healthcare now too, most of the nurses are not nurses because they got in the field to care for patients. They closed up these plants. They gave them no job left behind. They gave them money to go back to school. Nurses made a lot of money. People went back to school to be nurses for money. People who turned screws on cars and put bumpers on and windshield wipers and things of that nature, who didn't like dealing with people. That's why they was in the plant in the first place.
Right.
And now they're the ones who's providing care for us as nurses. And some of them advance all the way up to doctors or nurse practitioners or PAs. And so we have to be really, really careful. But having vaccines is not protecting people. And really, I guess you take a risk either way if you take the vaccine. But what they don't tell us is about all the people who died who took it.
Yep.
There are so many
people. Let me tell you something. So I was around some people that caught COVID. I did not have it, but I was around people that caught COVID. Now, due to my medical condition, I keep my immune system is very low. So because I was around people that caught it, they told me that they felt like the best thing for me to do was to get the antibodies.
Mm-hmm.
They did not give me the vaccine because I literally cannot take it.
Mm-hmm.
So they did not give me that, but they gave me the antibodies. So I had a nurse, some home health people show up at my door. They came with all the stuff to access my port and to give me this bag of antibodies. The very same night, not the next day, same night, I was sick as a dog just from the antibodies.
Mm-hmm.
I was breathing worse than the people that had been around me that had it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I got on the phone. I contacted this lady that I met who does everything she does is all natural. I told her what was going on. She said, "Remember when you came home after having your surgeries and you came home with double pneumonia?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Go back and use the same herb that you used when you came home after you had pneumonia." She said, "And call me next week." So for a whole week, I drank this herb called mullein all week long, just that and honey together. When I tell you it cleared up all the respiratory issues that I had, because it made my pneumonia go away in 4 days.
Wow.
Now, so it cleared up all the respiratory problems that I had. So when I started hearing about people that were connected to me or people that I knew that was having respiratory problems and it was a after effect from them having COVID, I told them about that herb. Everybody that went and got it called me back and said, "I thank you for turning me on to that. Now I drink it all the time."
Mm-hmm.
Just because it helped them and it kept their lungs open where COVID likes to shut the lung system down.
Right.
And I was like, because what you have to do is you have to start counteracting this stuff, not with a bunch of medication, but with normal stuff that will open you up and has a natural antibiotic or antibody effect that will boost your antibodies in your body to fight against this stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I did too. I day late, dollar short. Should have. I started taking, the vitamin C, vitamin D, oil of oregano, and things of that nature. And I was good. I had been around people who were positive, but I never came up positive. I live alone. I'm in the house most of the time, so I'm like, I kind of backed up off of it and traveled and got sick as I don't know what. But at the end of the day, if we have to think about back to our grandparents, our great grandparents, and even those before them, they use natural things. Right. They put so much stuff in this medication. You have to be really careful with it. Like, it's a lot of stuff that they have given me. I take one dose and I'm like, oh, I can't take this. Put it on my allergy list. I can't take this.
Right.
Well, what kind of reaction did you have? I didn't like the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
It made me do this. It made me like, you look at the list of all the things that medication can do to you. And some of it is bad as just going through the disease process.
Right.
And so you have to be really careful with the things that you take. And so back to all of this is still talking about discernment, because you got to know what to take and what not to take, what's good for you and what's not good for you. And when you, and sometimes like you say, the first dose, immediately you knew, like, I got to do something.
Right.
You know, you got to be ready. You got to be alert at all times and be ready to move when it's time to move. I see that she said to her daughter, well, I'm vaccinated and caught COVID. My daughter caught it twice and she was vaccinated and boosted.
Yeah. This stuff ain't working. And when you tell people you still talking about you finna run and go get it because you got a job that tell you you can't work for them if you ain't got it. Okay, well then I don't want your job.
Listen,
you're not finna kill me for me to try to make $1. You got it.
Listen, we got to choose life. It's just like I said earlier, we have to choose life. And sometimes choose life means going against the grain.
Right.
And when I say our ancestors went against the grain, some of us are going to have to go against the grain.
And I will say that I was really upset because I made an actual complaint about it because I got turned down for a government job because I refused to get the vaccine.
Yeah,
but look, Coach, the kicker to it is I never had to go in the building. I'm working from home for you. And you tell me I'm not gonna be around nobody.
Right.
Why do I have to be vaccinated if I'm gonna be behind in my own door, in front of my own computer? I ain't never gotta be around none of y'all.
But y'all do know you can get a waiver, right?
For what you mean?
You can get a waiver. Now you said you can't take the vaccine because of medical problems. 2 reasons why you can get a waiver. You can get a waiver for medical reasons. Your doctor just have to write it. Or you can go to the health department and get one for religious reasons. They can't force you to take those vaccines. You can take a waiver. Right now, they have not stopped us from having our religious rights, and you can use that.
Okay. Because ain't nobody never mentioned it here.
Yep, you can get a waiver. I did them at the health department.
Okay.
It's a whole lot of folks. What do you call them?
But from the other persuasion?
It's a whole lot of folks from the other persuasion whose kids have never been vaccinated. They sign waivers.
Right. So if I can do that, that's wonderful for me. Because
get a waiver. Get a waiver. I had the same problem. The feds offered me 2 jobs. The second one, they ended up going with somebody else because they couldn't get my paperwork done. But I sent you the paperwork and I said I need a waiver. So what's the holdup?
Right.
Now they say, oh, well, your doctor got to fill something out. I'm telling you medically I can't do it, but I have religious reasons too. So you want me to go get a religious waiver so I don't have to involve my doctor and go pay for an appointment for that? I can get a religious.
Right. It's just a bit much for me. You good?
Yes, that's my phone call.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it is after 9, ain't it?
Yeah, it came a little early.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not doing that. If you telling me that you gonna hire me on to work in my own house because I won't get vaccinated, baby, keep your job.
I feel the same way. I do have a little fixed income, and baby, I'm learning how to work it, baby. You hear me?
That part.
Today, I'm gonna work it, and that's why I got an insurance. I'm like, oh, I'm not going back in the field right now. Maybe I won't never go back because in insurance, I can sit right in my house and do everything on Zoom.
Do everything you got to do. Yep.
So hello.
I ain't worked in the office in 14 years and won't go back one.
That's right. But we need to get, so that's a whole nother show, as sis say. That's a whole nother show. Because at the end of the day, we need to be creating, and that's what we're doing in our accountability group. We need to be creating our own wealth anyways. We need to go back to opening up our own things and develop in another Black Wall Street and all of that. We need to recreate what they have stolen from us and torn. We built this nation.
Right.
And I think that's where the disconnect come from, because it's not really a nation. It's just a bunch of different states on the same piece of earth, and they all doing whatever they want to do. This thing about I see that we've gone from something else on to something else, but that's great. And thank y'all. Coco knows how my phone call is. But I think that we have forgotten that this is not a state, a nation. It's a collection of different states with different ideas. They done decided that you can't even have, you don't have no rights on your own body. It's old men and old women with who eggs done cracked, broken, dried up. That's
Right.
making all these decisions on people, and white people are crying because they happy to whatever. But when it all comes down to fear that they're going to be the minority, and the fear that we're going to do to them what they did to us. But if we was going to do that, we would have been did it. It is not in our nature. And I tell people this all the time. We were created first. And because we were created first, we got the full brunt of all of God's love, which is why we have mercy on these people who have done all of these things too, because that's what we made out of. We made from pure stock. Honey, y'all was beating each other in the head and still walking on your knees and hands when we was down here creating banks and money and roads and waterway. We was doing all that. Y'all was up in the Caucasus Mountains still grabbing women by the hair and yanking them into the woods. So please, why y'all don't get me started. You know I don't do non-melanated people very well. I just do not. Because if we talking about going back to trust and all that, I know everybody not the same, but I do know this: if something pop off, they're gonna go where it's safest to be at. You can wear cornrows and get dreadlocks and marry a black man, all you want to, but if it pop off, you're gonna go where you think it's the safe place to be, and you think the safe place is gonna be over there in the Caucasus Mountains.
Right, but see, this is the thing, that boy that shot up that elementary school in Texas. He said the reason why he did it. No, I'm sorry, wrong one. The guy that shot up the grocery store in New York. He said the reason why he did it is because he had a dream that the black people came to start lynching the white people.
Yeah, he had his idea. Listen, people laugh at Trump and all this stuff, but that man is very powerful.
Yep.
He is powerful because he's charismatic, and he has learned how to take a lie and make it the truth. And he says what most white people have been thinking and saying quietly in little rooms for years. And because he can do it, he does it out in the open. Everybody else thinking they can go it out, but I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna say this with all the gumption and the foolishness that I can listen. You see this shirt right here? This shirt says Uppity Negro. You come at me with the foolishness, I promise you. Look, a few people in Charleston have learned. Don't play with me.
Look, I've only had an encounter with Karen once, and I won't have another one.
Listen,
guaranteed.
And I was saying that lived in this neighborhood. God brought me back to God brought me back to the neighborhood I was in when I ran away from him, and put me on the same job I was on when I ran away from him. I'm in the same neighborhood. I was standing at that bus stop right down there when a boy yelled nigga and hit me in the head with a brick. He just threw it out the car. And I went home and blood was gushing everywhere. I think it must have a picture of it somewhere. And it was the first time that I had been physically hurt, because I had been walking down the street. You know, you hear Black B and this and Monkey, and that's where Uppity Negro came from. Because when I started driving trucks, I have been called every word attached to the word nigga and monkey that you can call it. And I took it at first because people say, you know, it's dangerous. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Meet me at the next truck stop. But before we get there, I'm going to go off my route on this CB, and I'm going to follow you for the next 20 miles. And I promise you, I'm going to talk about you, your mama, the fact that your daddy is your uncle daddy and your mama is your auntie mom. I'm going to talk about their relationship with the cat under the porch. I'm going to dog you. When I say I'm a dog walk you, I'm a dog watcher. I had a man crying like 20 miles of me nonstop. That's what you get when you call me a monkey driving. Because if you continue, and the thing is, why we always got to be on our best behavior? I'm not understanding that. Why I always got to have manners? Because you were the one acting a donkey. And if I choose to ride the donkey through the store, then let me ride the donkey. I don't understand why we always got to be the ones to keep our man. You don't want to be known as the angry black woman. First of all, I don't give a crap what you name me. My mama said Barbara Ann White. That was it. Now, whatever else you add on that, that's on you. So I don't care what you call me about being the angry black woman and all this other business. Call me what you may. But I bet you I get my point across. because that is the problem why we have Karens and Ken and Lil Tripper. It's because we do not stand up for ourselves, and we always got to be the one with manners. I rebuke the demon of manners, and I'll tell people quick, yeah, my mom gave me good manners. She taught me real good. I don't have to use them on you because it's my choice. And I hate when people make their children say, yes, ma'am. I hate when people make their children say, no, ma'am. I hate when people tell them, go shake his hand. Your child knows something you don't. They don't want to be around that person. And you forcing them to give auntie a kiss or give uncle a little nudge or give them a hug. I never force my nephews and nieces or any of my children I care. And I did daycare for 25 years. I never forced them to say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. But eventually they said yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. You know why? Because of respect. I earned their respect. Respect is earned. It's different with your own children because that is a given. But when these are not your children, you have to earn respect from people that are outside of your little circle of family. And I earned those children respect. And I earned their parents respect. But to force a child to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and all that other stuff, listen, that ain't manners. This is you forcing them to do something they don't want to do. Because like I said, I have seen a nigga rob somebody, and the whole time he was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am, and took all that lady's stuff. So you can say whatever you want to out of your mouth. And I'll tell you this, like I tell everybody else, somebody know you were in real life, and you were in real life a thug. Yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. The girl at the store told me my nephew was the sweetest or whatever. When he got in the car, everything rattling. This nigga done took some of every cookie, chip, and he yes, ma'am'd her to death. So I don't talk about children that much because I don't have any. And people who have children have a tendency to get kind of uptight when you talk about children and you don't have any, because obviously you don't know anything about raising children. And so I try to stay away from that subject. But I'll say this, like I said earlier in the show, they not your friend. Your children wasn't born to be your confidant. Your children wasn't born to listen about your troubles with your husband or your boyfriend or your other significant other with your liquidly sexual self. Your children were born as a gift to carry on whatever God created. And the only way to procreate, to carry on any species is to procreate and have children. So how the hell is you a liquid sexual? I can't do this show no more. I quit.
I looked up that liquid sexual. I'm like, okay, never heard of that.
It's called fluid. It's called fluid.
Yeah, I just looked
and you float between all of them. But I tell you this, you can be on the water and float all you want to. Your body gonna lose its buoyancy, and you're gonna get tired of trying to hold yourself up, and you're gonna drown, and you're gonna die. And I'm not gonna tell you where you're gonna go because I have no idea, because I can't put you in either or. But I do know this: when you get there, you better remember which one you was born. My apostle always say, if you got a problem with how you know what you would, put a mirror on the floor and open your legs. If it looked like a honey bun, you a girl. If it looked like an ostrich, then you a boy. Figure it out. But you're not going to fluid nothing. And I'm not going to call you I'm going to call you. When I see, hey, sis, they look at you like, you have breasts. They're taped down, but you just, I don't even understand how they do this when they have a period. I can't. Just forget. That's another show. I promise we won't have that show. I can't do it right now. But what we talk about, accountability. And
so we're talking about what you talked about, who left the gate open. We're just talking about different areas. That's all.
Yeah. And
so we just got done talking about COVID, because that's a whole nother thing where you got to be accountable, and you got to still have discernment to know what to do in this season.
Yes, Tara.
All these tricks and things that they're coming up with, you got to really be close to God and know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah,
you got to.
It's so much misinformation. Say it again, baby. Go ahead.
They're playing a lot of tricks with our lives, and it is, to them it's a game, but to us it's our lives. And so
it's the game of we go back to it. We go back to white fear. We go right back to it. It is the game of, we thought it was going to kill them, and it's killing more of us than them, because we forgot that we done told these white folks we run it. So when you try to tell somebody who's been running, you try to tell a bully that now you the new bully in town. and watch what kind of fight you get. Because white people are not used to being told what to do, which is why they won't wear the mask. It don't have nothing to do with Democratic. I'm not going to do it because you're trying to make me do it. You hear them saying, it's my right. Well, then die, heifer, because we don't care. Die, and when you do die, make sure you make a recommendation for that black girl to get your job. Because I know a lot of people talk about non-vaccination and all this other stuff. I did it twice because I was on chemo. And I couldn't let nothing compromise my immune system. But I had COVID. I had COVID before. I spent 14 days inside of a semi, alone and sick, because I didn't want to give it to my mama. Come to find out, she done had it 3 times before they even called it COVID. They just kept calling it something else.
I had it before they called it COVID too.
And yeah, and so this country is we're on the precipice of some very dangerous things. But I tell you this, there has never been a major change in anyone's lives, separately or as a group, where there was not bloodshed, there was not death, there was not lies, there was not deception, and then there was not victory. And every time I get scared, I look at the back of the Bible and it say we won. So and what? And what? And then and when I get real upset, I just start thinking, millions didn't make it. Millions. Right. And you was one of the ones who did. And so what you gonna do with it? You gonna get on this platform and talk about what they did on the Real Housewives, the real whatever that thing is, or any other reality show which I don't watch, or you gonna get on here and you're gonna be transparent enough for somebody to understand that the journey that they're on, they are not alone. Somebody else on that journey. You just don't wake up in the morning, all of a sudden your journey over. Stop telling people there's 5 steps. Yeah, you took 5 steps, but did you tell anybody that you got stuck on number 3 and you've been on number 3 for 4 years? And then you finally went to step 4. Stop telling people that because they feel like where they want to go is not attainable, that is not reachable. Stop it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you my journey as painful. Sometimes I get off of here, sit in the middle of this bed, and I boo-hoo myself fool because because I'm released from whatever God told me to do. And I said exactly what he said. And you can talk about the cuss words I use. You can say that all you want to. My message got across. I bet you when Peter cut that man's ear off, the message got across, didn't it? Jesus had to tell everybody, oh, y'all come back. Y'all gonna arrest me now. Because don't tell me them niggas ain't run off. Peter cut that. Did he get it? He got his message across.
Right.
And so my message gets across. I'm working on the cursing because ain't no way nobody gonna invite me to they little things or whatever. If I curse, because some people is just so holy that they ain't no earthly good. And I can't, and you really just can't do nothing with them. But if they're gonna take me to not curse, to get into the avenues that I have to get into, then I will do that. But I will say this. Is it better that you hear me say what I say, or I do it in secret and come out here and pretend that I'm somebody else?
No, be you. It takes
what I see people cursing. I hear, honey, I done heard some preachers.
It takes too much work to pretend.
And so would you rather me publicly be me? Or would you rather me just do me and there? And no, I'm just saying, it's just because that's what people won't invite me to their little functions like churches or whatever because of the things that I say.
No, I tell people all the time when people come around me physically, I notice them always trying to catch their words. Like before they say it, they be like, and then if they say, they be like, I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you apologizing for? Be you.
But Coco, I
know why they do it, but I just be like, be you, because I'm not that type of individual because I know me. Trust me, I love the Lord and all his precepts. But if you piss me off too much, I might say a couple of things. So I'm not gonna tell nobody that.
But this I
wouldn't tell nobody that at the end of the day. Because I know me back in the day. So I tell you, be you. I don't want you changing who you are to be around me. Be you.
I agree with Tara and Caramel Latte. Y'all exactly right. But I'll tell you this. And I'll say this again. You're going to get tired of hearing me say it. Somebody know you in real life.
Yeah.
So you can pretend and be all you want to be, but somebody watched you paint that red on the bottom of them shoe that you got from Payless.
Being disingenuous is just like trying to remember a lie.
Right.
Preach, Coach Feet. Listen.
I don't have time for that. I'm sorry.
I can barely remember people's names.
Listen, love me, don't love me. It's okay. Maybe you're not a part of what God is. God don't want you in my environment. If you can't handle me, you're not a part of my tribe. It's okay.
First of all, I can barely remember people's names. So trying to remember the lie I told is not gonna work. I barely remember folks' name. The guy told me his name today, who drive the truck with the guy I work for now. He told me, and the second I got in the truck, I forgot. I just literally forgot that. So I just call him Big Baby. Either answer or don't.
I got a nickname with me. If I can't remember your name, you got a nickname. I was
Right.
Coco, because trying to remember Carmaria.
No, I wasn't gonna do it. That is Cocoa. and when I don't like her, that's Coco Melon. But that is Cocoa, and the only time I don't like her is when she is prophesizing to me, and I don't like it. I mean, I talked to her for a couple of days after that, but I always come back. I want
to speak to what you said earlier, though. The Bible clearly says we die daily. So what we cannot do is try to force everybody to die instantly.
That's it.
Go on, see.
We can't do that. We got everybody's journey is not the same. I talked about this last night. Some of us are going to pray and say, God, I don't want this taste no more. He's going to take it from us. Right. Some of us got to go through the process. Right. It's just that simple. And so we got to discern even that. Which one am I? You know, the one that's going to, and I was talking to someone yesterday during a session, and I said to her, she's like, since the last time I talked to you, I've done this, I've done both. I've been this and I've been that, and I told her, honey, I said, what are you trying to do? I said, you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time.
You better say so.
Stop trying to do, I got to do this for the rest of my life. Start with 15 minutes.
Yeah.
When you conquer the 15 minutes, go to 30 minutes. As long as you and God know you are better you and you trying and you're really making some progress, don't worry about what nobody else say.
And some journeys are done just that way. They're done minutes by minutes by minutes. And when I get into a place where I cannot control this and I cannot control the rage, and I'm gonna be honest, just be mad at God. Just be mad because he's not doing what I want him to do. I want him to take this away. But he told me when I first got diagnosed, he told me, you're going to go through this. I'm not taking it. I'm not going to bring you through. I mean, I'm not going to pull you out. I'm going to bring you through. So I have to go to the end of this journey. And I know that. But it doesn't negate the fact that I get angry. And people want to admit they're angry with God because they think it's blasphemous. It's your daddy. Yeah. You're not never mad with your daddy? Yeah, then good for you. You're a saint above saints, and you need to go home. You need to ascend to the Father.
Not only have I been mad at God, but left the church for 2 years, and when I finally came back, I was so grateful that he didn't let me die out there. But let me tell you,
that's what I did when I went in that truck. That's what I did when I went in that truck. That 4 years in that truck. When he told me I would have that the God was calling me, and they licensed me as an evangelist, I went through the whole program. I said, I bought, and I'm not a tennis shoe person. I bought my first pair of Nikes. And I hopped and I went to wherever I could get away from them the quickest. And I ministered more out there than I ever ministered when I was being ordained as an evangelist. Mm-hmm. But look what he did. He brought me back to the same old ratty, stank neighborhood. Put me on the same job where they would take me back in a second. The girl called me. They said, it's so quiet in here. It's so quiet. It's not the same without you. I say, I don't see my growth until I look back at and I'll be honest with you. You want to talk about transparency? Till I look back at some of the suicide notes I wrote in my journal. Mm-hmm. That's how I know that I have grown, and because people say, oh, it's just going to grow. Don't tell me that because I don't care. I was sitting on my locks. I loved them. They made me feel pretty. They made me feel like a woman, and they made me walk into a room and now when I walk into a room, I have to catch myself. I have to catch myself from looking down. I have to catch myself from looking at all the women and their boobs and they looking so pretty and they look like women. And because I think not having children affected me differently, and probably other people who don't have children and had breast cancer, because my body was my feminine. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because having children is that woman thing that we do because God ordained that. But when I could not do that particular thing, my body was the epitome of feminine to me. I had the hair, which means I had the covering, and I had the breast, which means I could nurture, but I didn't have to do it with milk. I could still hold somebody and comfort them. And now when I hug people, I step back. It's like, I don't know. It's like if they feel that, they'll be disgusted because I can see it. They can't see it. And I'm just being transparent. I'm just telling you the journey that people have to go through. And then they skip over all of this. And now you preaching and you got this big old church and you ain't telling everybody that, yeah, it was 12 steps. But nigga, I was stuck on 7. That forgiving myself thing. I was stuck on it for almost 8 years. You don't tell them that. You just tell them I went through the 12 steps and this is what God did for me. I'm going to give you the 12 steps. Now they stuck on 3 or 4 and they trying to figure out, well, God must love you more than he loved me because I can't get over 3 or 4 because you're not giving the journey. You're not talking about the process. And that is what this show is about. It is about journeys, processes, accountability, and being who you are as genuinely as you possibly can.
But see,
there are other stories I could tell. Go ahead, baby. I'm sorry.
The biggest thing about that is you got to think about it. When people go to AA, you got 12 steps.
Right,
but
Tara.
The first thing a sponsor tell you is that the 12 steps are lifelong.
Yes.
That there are parts of your life where you will go back through every step all over again. So it doesn't mean that just because you went through the 12 steps once, don't mean that you won't need them again.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And I believe it's that way because it's going to make you pray. It's going to make you. People say don't question God, but why would you not question a person with all the answers? What the devil is you talking about? Why would you not question the person who got all the answers?
Right.
People say things, these little cliche things. You know which one I hate the most, though. You know the one I hate the most. The table. What they're going to bring to the table, and I am the table. Oh, girl, I don't know who made that up, but I would really love to hit them in their throat. No, Fee.
First of all,
I really want to hit them right there where the Adam's apple. I want to hit them in their throat because you done got people saying stuff because it sounds incredible. Do you know what people do at a table, Coach Fee?
It's stupid though. I mean, that to me, it's a stupid thing to say because first of all, if you say what you bring it to the table and I am the table, but when you look at let's think about the table as being a Thanksgiving feast. But when you walk in and look at the stuff that's on the table, ain't none of it edible, baby. Your table, I don't want.
Second of all,
nothing on your table do I want because
exactly. But the second thing is this. The other thing is this. You talking about these are women saying this now. Right. Women, not niggas. Right. So I'm sorry, Coach P, if you don't like that word. I just. Yeah, but
you listen. Don't worry about it because my grandson told me that they retired that word. And I said that was their choice. That wasn't my choice.
Yeah, so whatever. Yeah, they retired that. But did you pay your child support? That's all I'm saying. Okay, never mind. That's another show. So you talking about a table? Yeah. And then you asking a man what he bringing to the table. First of all, you shouldn't have built your own table because that's not your job. So what he brings to the table, no. He's supposed to bring the table. So you need to understand, you need to make sure this nigga can build a table so that you can put the sustenance on it to make sure that he feeds. I told my friend this in the truck. Men are hold an umbrella. It's like a corporation. So men hold the umbrella. Under that umbrella, he makes sure that everything stays dry, no mold grows on it, everything stays the way it is. So that includes the children. He's under that umbrella. So it ain't what he can bring. It ain't what he can bring to the table. It's his umbrella in the way that it's supposed to be, or did it flip up because the wind blew and it ain't strong enough? You need to make sure this nigga can build a table so that you can put food on it as a woman. I was just saying that these new millennial niggas, these women with this iron cooking, because I work hard. Oh girl, I work hard as he do.
Right.
You can't work harder than a black man. You know what he got to put up with?
Right.
He got to put up with women, white people, being associated with every thug known to man because of the way he dressed, because he chooses to dress that way. And lastly, he got to put up with fluidly sexual people. He don't know what the devil he talking to. And you mean to tell me you work harder than he do?
No.
You need to marry somebody. You need to get to somebody who, this is why I talk about people in the Bible with all this stuff. When them people got married, when they say that man knew her, they wasn't just talking about sex. It was talking about a year or two of just sitting in a room with her family on one side and y'all chit-chatting over there and them making sure y'all don't do that. Y'all ain't got no business. He knew her.
Yeah,
absolutely. He knew everything. He knew about her family. He knew about the craziness. So now you wondering why your child over there licking paint because his uncle licked paint because your boyfriend didn't tell you that his uncle.
But he courted her back in the day. That's what they did.
And those biblical marriages were set up totally different than marriages set up today.
Yes.
The ceremony was the end of the marriage. Started long before the ceremony.
Yep.
Right. Long before the ceremony. And we Lord, that's like, okay, that's another subject.
Yeah. Yeah. So at
the end of the day, we don't even want to go to marriage counseling now.
No.
Because we want to do it our way. We don't want to hear no truth. What you mean?
Yeah,
we don't want to hear the truth.
They went through all these stages. If we look in the Bible, they went through all these stages. Yes. The ceremony was a celebration at the end.
Right.
That's why Joseph said he was going to put Mary away privately. They hadn't had no ceremony yet. Because had they had a ceremony, he would have consummated the marriage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why he said, I'm just going to put it, because she was already considered his wife.
Yeah, because they had the promises was made, the money was paid.
Yeah. And the dowries was paid. Y'all married. You just got to go through the whole process, which probably included some type of counseling.
Yeah, but my thing is this. Let's look, we really can't put it aside, but I'm going to try to. Let's put aside the fact that a lot of those marriages were forced and they didn't want to. Let's put that aside, okay? I know it's hard because it's all interwoven, but let's think about the knowing, because I'm sure that a lot of those marriages that had been forced, once they got that part with a 1 and 2 year courtship or whatever, they knew each other enough to say whether they love. So let's put that aside for a moment. If we did that now, and these niggas had to pay to marry them, or you didn't have these issues. But we have been. If you really think about the things that were stolen and mishandled and just destroyed and desecrated by white people for bringing us over here, it would really make you it would really force you to understand that a lot of things that we do and say is just master talk. You understand? The hand holding up in church, that's because niggas had to announce that they was about to go to the bathroom. So why are you holding your finger up? It's slave mentality. It's master talk. Women that are docile and quiet, that's white folks talk. We had entire tribes just of women warriors, Amazon warriors who ran kingdoms. The Queen of Sheba wasn't no punk.
Nope.
David wanted to marry. She was like, no, bro, you ain't got nothing to offer because everything I need, I got. And you's a rapist too? No, nigga, I'm going back to my country. You can get all my gifts I'm keeping, but I'm on my way out because you ain't got nothing to offer me. But if women would just start to understand that if we get together, the niggas ain't going to be far behind. The men are not going to be far behind. But it's us and the fact that we have been taught by master slave thing that we are in competition with each other. And it all started with that light-skinned heifer in the house and the dark-skinned heifer in the field. Now you mad because she got on massive white dress from last year, and she looking down on you because all you wearing is rags. Oh, I almost said it. I didn't say it.
And
but
it's
Nana
funny
had
it's funny that you bring that up though.
Yeah, but that's what. But we still work. Our mothers still operate in that thing. You got to be better. You light skin. You got to be this. Now dark skin is coming back. But I'm saying you got to be this. You got to be better than her. You got to have the boyfriend. But you don't. What you got to do is you got to link hands with her, link hands with somebody else, and change this whole thing. But we can't do that because we too worried about who house bigger, who shoes bigger, who husband bigger. I can't. We worried about too much other stuff.
Me and Coach was having a conversation last night about stuff that's happening in other countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got African women bleaching themselves.
Have you seen the mess?
Lighter. They try to become
and they
lighter.
Forget their hands. How you forget your hands, sis?
You bleaching yourself to try to become lighter because somebody tells you that lighter is better.
No, right? It ain't somebody. It ain't somebody. It's the white women in America and England. White is right. It ain't somebody. It's white folks.
But but it's not just that. You got the men telling them that if they
would prefer somebody lighter.
Right.
But you know this, only her skin lighter. Your children gonna still be black.
Yeah.
Black as night because only her skin lighten up.
That's it. Everything about you is still gonna remain the same. So it's funny that it's all the countries that's doing it. I see a lot of the entertainers that I know. You started out as black as this phone holder I got on my table,
and I look at them. I go,
all of a sudden you 4-5 shades lighter, whatever.
Yeah, but Jada Smith, when she changed her face, I was like, what? Why did you do that? Now you look like an alien because she got her cheekbones. She had got her cheekbones done, and now she looks like that picture of the alien.
Her cheekbones and her mouth.
Yes, I don't know. I think people.
The one that really got me is Little Kim.
I can't.
She
Kim got no friends. She don't have no friends. She has no friends.
She was pretty the way she was.
Yes, but she ain't got no friends.
But
she ain't got no friends.
But because she felt like rejection, you went and had all this stuff done to yourself, and now you look like a cat in the face.
Yeah.
Like what?
I think I think that people forget that they're gonna have to go before the judgment.
Right.
And I think that they forget that this clay form is not going. Your spirit is going. And if you have manifested this idea in your spirit that your body defines who you are, you're gonna die and take that wherever you're going with you. And God gonna turn his back because he ain't gonna know who you are. Not because you didn't do his work, because you done because now you fluid. I can't get over the fluid. I don't understand when the roles turn the other way. Like I don't understand when it became popular to be openly as a homosexual. I knew my cousin was gay. He was my favorite cousin, but all I knew is he wore eyeliner. He was very discreet.
It didn't become popular until Obama.
And yeah, that one law he did with the marriage thing, we just disagreed on that.
But see, I think now the people that are not straight are worried that because of this Roe and Wade thing being overturned is now going to overturn those.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It was built on shaky foundation. The gay community used civil rights laws to get what they wanted.
Yeah.
And once they got what they wanted, the black people that pushed with them, they threw them to the side because we still white. So they did it with women's suffrage when it was time to vote. All them black women was with them. And when the governor and the Congress kept saying no, one white lady, I can never remember that lady's name, went to her husband and said, "You gonna let a nigga vote before your white wife?" And that's how women got to vote. But black folks still didn't get to vote for years after that, even though we marched with them. And that's exactly what happened in the gay community. We marched with them. We fought with them. We did all this with them. And more black gays and whatever they want to call themselves, LBGTQRS, MVP, whatever. are getting killed than white ones.
Yeah.
And this is the struggle that we've had in this country all this time. We fight for these things. Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff. But when it go wrong, I just told you that at the beginning of the show, they gonna go where they think is safe.
Yeah.
So you can keep on following these white women with their tears, because their tears have gotten many a good man lynched up.
Well, if
So you keep on fighting the fight that you're gonna lose.
If you see me hop off, it's because it's almost 10. And the hubby will be calling at 10 o'clock.
I know that's right. You know how I go about my phone call. But you ain't gotta hop on. This has been long enough. I love y'all. We have to do this again. So we'll be back next Tuesday. I don't know what God gonna give me, and He might continue on with this vein. I don't think I'm ready for the homosexual talk thing yet. I do some more studying.
No,
because I like to know what I'm talking about when I know I'm gonna make everybody mad.
Yeah,
so they're gonna come for me, and that's fine. They can come for me. That's fine. But you can bring them pink feathers and them pink tennis shoes over here if you want to, or the strap breast down and all that if you want to. But you're gonna walk back limping. I'm gonna tell you that. You come for me, you better come correct. That's what you better do. And you better know what you're talking about if you come for me, because I'm a dog walk you. That is a warning before destruction. Period. They told me I had cancer. I lost my hair. I lost my mama. I lost a kidney. I lost both of my breasts and most of my friends. Do you think I care? That is the question of the night. Do you actually think that I care? Because I don't. I got a job to do. I didn't do it 4 years ago, and I will accomplish what God set out for me to do. And what you do is wrong biblically, and biologically is wrong, because if you cannot reproduce with your partner, then the species dies. And God said at the very beginning, He said to be fruitful and multiply. He didn't say be fruity and fluid. That is what I said, and I meant what I said, and I'm not taking it back. He did not say be fruity and fluid. So stop it. And yes, He loves you, and He's gonna love you when you in hell screaming. I said it, and I'm not taking it back. I might be down there with you, because I don't know. Good folks, what they say, what the Bible say? Like going through a needle through a camel through a needle. So I don't know if I'm going. But I do know this. What is wrong is wrong. And if you wrong biblically and you wrong biologically, come at me. Because you're wrong. There's no way this species can survive if two of the same people of the same sex are procreating. Because you're not procreating. You just, I can't say that word. That would have been the worst word tonight. I would have got in trouble. That's all you're doing is screwing. Because you ain't doing nothing else. And your body is winning the battle because you didn't put up the fight. I'm going to tell you, this is my book. Right here. Right here. And somewhere in here, it'll tell you that the first person I fell in love with as a girlfriend was a girl. Because I did not like men, because every man that I knew, all they wanted was to do things to me that you're not supposed to do to little children. Mm-hmm. And I thought that that's what I wanted. But I put in the work. Because I knew, well, out of all the other things I knew I was going to screw up on, something was going to get done right. And it is a struggle. And I'll talk about that struggle one day. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed that sometimes I'll catch myself looking at a woman or whatever. But I bet you this, Bobby sit up in that bed, put her feet on the floor and say, B, and she don't mean Bobby either. B, get yourself together. It is a fight with your flesh. I'm transparent about it. I don't have no secrets. It is a fight with my flesh. And when that demon couldn't get me, it went straight to my sister. And then it went straight to her son. Because it's a generational curse. Mm-hmm. And I broke it for my generation. I don't know what they're going to do, but I know what I did for me. It is a fight. It is a struggle, and you have to put in the work, but it can be done. I have never had sex with another woman. Have I lusted after another woman in my younger days? I have. Because that's what I thought was better for me because of what had been done to me. I'm not saying that everybody who's like that has been touched or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that a demon is attached to you, mm-hmm. and you rocking it like a baby, and he's loving it. And every time you lay down with somebody of the same sex, that's another show. But I'm gonna tell you this: I love everybody. I don't talk down to nobody. I don't do that. But what I'm not gonna do is twist my brain and my tongue to try to figure out whether to call you yes sir or no ma'am. Because what I see is what I'm going to call you. And if that is not something that you wish to happen, then sis or bruh, guess what? Then don't be around me, because I'm not twisting up my mind and my everything just to accommodate you. Because ain't nobody twisting up their mind or whatever not to call me a black bitch or a nigga or a monkey or a CUNT. So because nobody else twisting up what they say about me, and whatever I do, and I say this again, go through my Facebook and search for anything you want to. And I give this disclaimer all the time. You can come for me, ask me questions, because I'm going to answer them with truth and with whatever. You can talk about the niggas I've been with. I ain't got no secrets. I done told everything. And I just now told some things I didn't, but they in the book. And I don't care about who. I care about hurting people's feelings. I do, on purpose. I would never do that on purpose. But if I say something and it stung you, pull it out, pull the prick of it out, heal, take care of the wound, and move on. Because that's how I got where I am. Because somebody told me the truth one day. Kakoa, you not accountable. You blaming it. You always got to be the victim. She didn't say it like that, but she sat me down and one day and looked me dead in my eye on this screen, and she told me my truth. And I tell you, I hated her for that. But I tell you this, now when I need the truth, she is the person I call. When I want to be played with and a feather or whatever to come out the sky, sorry y'all, my phone about to go dead. That's what I do. But I'm going to get off because my phone going dead and I can't find my charger. Oh, here it is. So we do what we do, and I say what I say. And if anybody has a problem with it, then you can come on the show, or we can do it privately. Because, you know, some people say, well, you only do that because whatever. I do what I do because I can. I think it's like I'm going off. There you go. So it's kind of dark in here. But I just want to close the show. I got 3%. Jesus, I want to close the show like a regular person. But I usually don't close it like a regular person. I don't know why I just go off like that. But I meant what I said, and I said it because I meant it. And if you want to come on the show and debate me, do that. It says, thank everyone for coming. Oh, there you go. She telling me she about to go. Does she tell her that's my cue? The takeover, Uppity Negro Apparel, get you some merch. Yes, get you some merch. This is my shirt, Uppity Negro. I suggest you do not wear this to work if you want to keep your job. Ma is the book. It's on Amazon, and you can also get it as an ebook. It is just if you have ever been molested or raped, or somebody did that, I would suggest you not read the first chapter until you read the rest of the book, and then I would read the first chapter carefully. And when if it gets too much, it's very graphic. I put myself back into a 5-year-old body, and I called Coco because I had a breakdown. I literally thought my mind had broke because I couldn't come out of the 5-year-old. I couldn't bring myself out. I went so far into I could smell this man. I could feel the blanket. I went in, and I couldn't get out. And Coco pulled me out. I was so far in. I used to suck these 2 fingers. I had started sucking my finger because I wanted to tell the truth. And Coco pulled me out. And that's what I'm talking about, being accountable and being truthful and being yourself and being real. Because if she was a fake person and just doing this for this thing, I would have called her and I would have been lost. Guard your gates.
I love you, sis.
Love you more. Guard your gates. Invite who you want in. And if somebody invites somebody to the party and you didn't invite them, you have every right to put them on the outside of that gate and slam it. It is your right. It is your gate. It is your house. You have the blueprint. You have the plan. Lock it up because people after you. People after you because they're insecure. They don't know where they're going to go. So the best thing for them to do is to go after you. Watch who you talk to. Look for those people who all they do is, oh, she's such a good listener. Watch out for those people because they listening because they going to dog walk you as soon as you not their friend no more. And some people, I gotta go, y'all. Some people are friends with people because they scared not to be their friend because they know that friend is gonna dog them if they ever not friends no more. So y'all not really friends no more. You just do it because you know that person gonna get. So you enslaved to that person because you have decided that if I don't be their friend no more, they gonna tear me up because I confided in the wrong person. So you're not their friend. You their slave.
That's good.
I'm trying to add the link to your book. Can you send it to me?
Yeah, I can. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But I gotta go because I tried to get through the whole show without crying. But I would love for everyone to join me back on next Tuesday. I usually don't know what God is gonna give me until the day before or the morning of. I don't know why he do it that way because I want to study, but I think the reason he does it is so that it won't be rehearsed, and I have to find the words that are coming out of my mouth are usually not mine, and I'm surprised by most of the stuff that I don't know why I told you I was in love with a girl. I don't know why I don't know where that came from because I don't know, and I understand that in my vulnerability, it's gonna help somebody. Because I wasn't molested to tell everybody that I came out victorious. I wasn't raped for that. I wasn't beat by a man for that. None of that. You know why? Why I went through that? Because somebody gonna see this broadcast and they gonna learn how to fight and tell the nigga, no, don't touch me no more. People are being molested and raped all the way up from little girls to their 20s and 30s because they don't know how to say no. They don't know how to fight. I didn't learn how to fight till I was 48. And I learned how to fight 15 minutes after my last suicide attempt. And that's when I decided I'm not going to have no secrets and I'm going to fight. And I'm going to fight anybody that comes to destroy what God is trying to build in me. So when I tell you and I warn you, that's not me being a badass. That's not that. You know what that is? That's me warning you because I'm one of God's favorites. You may not think so because you see the tape on the curtains and the ugly. That's what you looking at. But boy, you don't want to get on my daddy bad side. You really don't. And I got a brother named Jesus. He turned over table. You don't want him since you want to be the table. You don't want him to turn over your table. I'm warning you, not because I'm gonna come after you, but you know that little secret that you got that you don't want nobody to know. God knows. He know what hurts you more than anything. He know better than me. So I don't warn because of me, because I'm a badass. I don't fight. I don't do nothing gonna mess up my lashes or break my nails. I promise you. But I got a daddy who says I'm his favorite. I'm the apple of his eye.
Yes.
And I got a brother that died for me and took a beating for me. And you think I'm scared of you? Sis, bruh, bring it. I'll debate you on anything you want to. Just give me a day to go through, get me some notes together and learn about whatever we're talking about. And then watch God move. Because the only reason I'm present in this moment is because of God.
Amen.
The only reason that I have not lost my mind is because of God. And everything that I have, can't nobody say if it wasn't for me. She wouldn't. It's all God. The car, the place, even though I don't like it, it's still my place. It's mine. I can turn the key whenever I want to.
Hallelujah.
And so everything that I have, I worked hard for. I worked for it. I've lost everything, and then I looked around at that closet. You know what I asked God for last year when I was sleeping on that girl floor? A closet. That's how simple prayer is, and that's how good God is. That's a closet. where I can hang my clothes. I didn't have to live out no box.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand where I was at? I thought I was going to die. My mama just died of what they just told me I had. And then they tell me they're going to take my breast. Nobody knows the turmoil in your head when God tells you he loves you, but then he allows the devil to bring suffering. It's almost, that's why people say it's contradictory, but it's not. Religion contradicts itself, not a relationship with God. The relationship with God is not contradictory. It is a sword that cuts both ways. You got negative and positive, just like all things work in life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get yourself together and be accountable for the things that are going on in your life and face up to the demons that are trying to leave you locked up in a closet. My husband left me first time I was in a closet for a week. I only came out to pee. And my mind broke because I could not imagine anything else but being his wife. He called me fat and ugly and stupid. And once I shook that off, I heard myself in the dark say one word. I heard myself say Jesus. That one word. I got up and cleaned myself off, did what I had to do, went to college, got a master's. I drive a truck now. I am federally ordained to drive a 72-foot truck. And I can back it up better than anybody. That's stupid. And I lost the weight. And I got niggas calling even with no boobs and all of that. You know why? Because I am the greatest. And you can debate that too if you want to. But I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest of all time in my little fenced-in area. I'm my goals. I don't have nobody else's relationship with God or whoever. They're not my goals. I'm my own goals. Every day I got to reach a goal to become better than the girl who was yesterday. And you have to do the same thing. But the only way that you're going to be able to do this, I know I said I was going to go, but I can't. And the only way that you're going to be able to do this is to be accountable.
That's right.
You gotta face the lies you told and say, I lied. I told my apostle that one time. I said, I lied. That wasn't the truth. Or I'll tell her something else. And she said, why you? I said, because I have to be, I'm in a different place. I gotta be accountable. Because you know what I told God last year? Don't let me die. Not like this. Don't let me die like this. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Because I did not want to die like this without having made any impact on anybody else's life. I may not be able to reach my sisters because she doesn't speak to me, or my nephews or whatever. But I tell you this, that boy probably ate the best meal he ever ate in a long time since my mama died. And you know what that means? It means I was right. You gonna need me before I need you. I swear on God, I swear on everything I love. You gonna need me before I need you. And that's just how life is. And you have to remember that when people dog you, or they try to dog walk you, or they try to put you down. It may not come right now, and it may be my children, but you're going to need something from this line before I need you. Because my daddy does not lie. My brother don't lie. And he going to come to my rescue every single time. I worked for the nigga the other day. That boy gave me $106. And then after a while, he thought about it and tried to gave me the rest. He was a liar. I quit my job to go to that job. And I'm trying to catch up. I'm dodging the rent lady. This is me being transparent. I texting her and telling her that I'm going to have it, hoping to God I have it. Because I believe that I heard God's voice. And I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to say maybe I did. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to discount my relationship with God. And so now I got another job. And it came just like that. And then 3 more came. I had a choice. And you telling me God ain't what? Because I say some curse words? Listen, be accountable for yourself. If you are the problem, look yourself in the mirror I do it all the time. I look at myself and I tell myself off all the time. You shouldn't have said that to such and that. You hurt their feelings, and all the time. Or I tell myself, why you so hard on yourself? Nobody care about any of that. What you rushing to cook for? Why you have to keep the house? You ain't got to sweep every day. Ain't nobody coming over here. Why you have to be perfect like that? Why you got to always dress? Because it doesn't matter how you look or how you dress or whatever. Well, you know what God gonna ask me? Did you know that your neighbor didn't eat today? Why you didn't give that lady that $5? Why you walk past your nephew like that? Because I was gonna walk past this nigga. The things they did and said about me in the street, I almost did it. But that ain't me no more. You know why? Because I ain't got that hair no more. I don't have those breasts no more. He broke me, God broke me down to the floor. You understand me? To the floor. So I lost everything. And was so broke I had to put it in somebody else's garage. Learn from your lesson so he don't have to do this. So you don't have to go through a Job experience just to prove to God that you're gonna do what he say you're gonna do. Because running doesn't help. You can't run from yourself anyway. Go tell that person you lied. Go tell that person that you did do that. Go tell that person I did tell them that. And then tell them you just won't do it no more. Apologize. If they don't accept your apology, you done did your part. Now move on. I had to forgive that nigga who did those things to me. I don't know where he at. I don't know where, but I did it one day in my truck in the middle of worship. I had to forgive him. I had to let it go because it was killing my life and it was making me choose niggas that wasn't worth nothing. And it was making me feel like this is all I'm ever going to deserve. This is all I'm going to get. So you keep on getting them niggas like that because you're not going to be able to get nobody else. Ain't nobody else going to want you. And this was when I had the hair and I thought I was something. The devil will have you so twist up and mess up in your own mess, you ain't going to know how to get out. Let me tell you how to get out. Accountability. And being truthfully you. This is me. This is how I talk all the time. This is how I am all the time. Okay, so the lashes and the eyes, I change them all the time. Don't judge me. The lashes, I think, make me pretty, and I change my eye color every week. But this is me, and I do what I do to make me happy. You can talk about my lashes look like little birds. I don't care. I do what makes me feel pretty. That's what I do, because this depresses me. My hands and feet turning black 2 and 3 times a day. Doing this is because I'm upset and because I wish it was still there. I still forget when I go in the store. Sometimes I go in the bra section because sometimes I'm so into my own life, I forget I don't have no more. But that's how God wants us to be when it comes down to forgiving other people and forgiving ourselves. He wants you to be so into yourself and into your life that you forget all of the things that you think that God is holding over your head. It ain't God. It's you and the jackass that you confided in that's holding it over your head. People who remind you of your mess, you need to get out of your life.
That's right.
Because they're not. Thank you so much, Kamala. I can't say your name because y'all got me in my feelings. Try to do a show without crying, but I cry because I'm full, and I cry because I know that I've emptied out everything that God has told me to do, and it was hard. And y'all think I don't know if y'all think I'm joking. Most of the stuff that comes out of my mouth that I don't read or that I haven't studied, I don't realize it's gonna come out my mouth. I didn't realize I was gonna say all that stuff about myself. I was like, let them read the book. You feel me? But I feel so clean right now. I feel so good right now. I did what I thought I was failing my mama because I couldn't find my nephews or my niece or my brothers. But now I see God going to reveal them to me when he's ready and when they ready. He looks so bad, y'all. He ain't even 21 yet, 22. and he's already a junkie. But I bet you that was the best meal he had in a long time. And I cooked it just like my mama would, smothered pork chop and rice. Because the people who dog you like that, they gonna need you. It says, I was about to say the same thing. She is absolutely beautiful. See yourself the way God sees you, for you're truly apple of his eye. And Felicia, you are right. I think a lot of people forget everything he made is good. Exactly. And God didn't use no big fancy words, awesome and stupendous. And that man said 4 letters. He looked at the earth and said, oh, that's good. And if that word is good enough for God, why wouldn't it be good enough for you? Just do good. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And if they don't learn the lesson, then step off. Because you have to teach. The way people treat you is how you taught them to treat you. You taught them that because you left the dang gate open. You taught them that. Your children curse you out. You taught them that because you didn't knock their teeth out the first time they did it. Your husband, and I'm not throwing shade at nobody. My husband did it to me too. He had 5 children in our marriage, and I stayed. He cheats because you didn't stop it the first time. You didn't put your foot down because you figure, oh, he gonna do better. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. Because you just taught him, and I'm gonna let you get away with that. Now, if you stay with him, there are things that need to be done. First of all, it'll be you and lotion for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
There gotta be consequences to whatever. You want to be home them nights out with the niggas? Nope. You're gonna have to spend quality time. And I bet you we going on a vacation somewhere, just me and you to talk. I don't care if it's in the middle of the woods. There have to be consequences. But if you don't put your foot down, people gonna continue to. People been dogging me. They do it because I taught them to. That I'm always available.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I became unavailable, oh, she done changed. She not the same person. She done get a big head or this, that, and the other. No, I didn't. I just learned that I have boundaries, and you tried to cross it, and now you out side the gate with no key and no blueprint. I love that blueprint analogy. I love that. We are made in his image. You can't leave the gate. Oh, you better say so. You gave him approval to exactly. You've given them approval to come in. You didn't stop them. You didn't. I don't know why these African men come on this thing and try to go into a private chat room with me. They don't want none of this smoke. But you give people treat you the way that you taught them to treat you. And unless your children do the same thing, you teach your children how to act and how to do. Then why would you not do that to a person that's outside of that realm? Why would you not teach them how to treat you so that when they step over those boundaries and they keep doing it, then okay, you're not a loyal friend. You're not a friend because you acting like you can't. You keep taking this test and you keep failing. Are you just not studying? Are you not listening to me? No, you don't care enough to treat me in the way that I've taught you to treat me. You need special approval to have access to me now. Exactly. You better have, just like the immigrants, where your green card at? You got a passport? And before we get into any of this friendship stuff, I need to do a sled check. I need to go and sled check. I don't mean the government sled check. I mean, get on my knees. I need to talk to the ultimate background checker.
Coach Fee, did you want this in the main chat? You muted.
You on mute, darling.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Okay. I'll put it in there.
Okay, thank you.
But I have enjoyed Coach Fee. People say I say stuff that people don't talk like that. I talk like that. I don't care. I am honored, and I salute you, Queen, because I am that you would take out the time and validate anything that came out of my mouth, because I still have. I still have insecurities and doubt, and not doubt in God or anything like that. It's just I doubt and have insecurities in my own self. And for you as a person that does this on a daily basis to come and lend your expertise and to not tell me, well, you just wrong, that's just whatever, is very validating to me. And I again salute you as the queen you are. And I say to you that whatever that we pray, that whatever thoughts that linger or feelings that linger from whatever trauma that you had, we pray into God that they will all just go away and they will disappear. And that the lives that you are touching are being touched not just by the words you say because you know what to say out of a book, but they are spiritually being touched. And this is the prayer that we're praying for you. I'm praying that your practice grows. I'm praying that children will come and people will bring their entire families, and that you will work, that you will be inside of stadiums of thousands of people, and you will be talking to them and you will be leading them in the right way of how to deal with trauma. And this is the prayer that I have for God for you. And I don't know you, I just met you, but I on everything that I love at this moment, the sisterhood that I feel for you, it has it's just overflowing. And you have touched my life tonight in a way that you cannot understand. And I don't understand. But to hear your story and to see you thriving in what you want to thrive in, millions didn't make it. Millions didn't make it. And we did. The Bible said you can touch the body, but they didn't touch our soul. Girl, you's a wonder. You's a wonder.
Yes.
Coco, please read that because I can't.
All right. So Coach B, she said, choose life, choose you. My life and my story is hidden from no one. When I'm led to share, I'm very transparent. The reason why is because people are talking anyway about the very things we try to hide. Sometimes those things can torment us because we live in shame, oftentimes that does not even belong to us. I am not a repeat, not a victim. Although I have been victimized many times, I am an overcomer. I have overcame being raped. I have overcame being a domestic violence situation, and it cut off. So I don't know what was said.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Oh, I didn't send the whole thing. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Yeah, because that is beautiful right there.
Ooh, let me get my glasses. Which paragraph was that, Coco?
She stopped the last one. She stopped that situation
and says your domestic violence situation.
Yeah.
And then it stops.
Oh wow, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead and read the rest.
Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna just start here. It says, because although they wanted me to feel like I was not worthy and that I didn't deserve to be treated better or to be loved, I knew that they were all lies. I knew that I was dearly and fearfully and wonderfully made. I knew that I was an heir and joint heir with Jesus. I knew that God loved me and had a plan for my life. I knew that I was worthy enough for Jesus to make the ultimate sacrifice for me and die on the cross so that my own sins, I'm not perfect, I'm forgiven, could be forgiven and I could rise. I knew that that was not God, what God said about me. So I started loving me enough to realize that I deserve better and to forgive myself for accepting the things I didn't deserve and to begin again. That's not all of the trauma that I have experienced, but that's what I'm led to share right now. Trauma comes to us all. I've truly learned that it's not what happens to us, but what we allow to happen, when we allow what happened to us to do something in us. I choose to reject it all, to cast down those imaginations and every high thing, and to see me how God sees me. Then I had to do something about it, because we can believe all day, but nothing happens until we make it happen. God had given us the power and the authority, as well as choices, and I choose life. tired of selling for way less than what I was worthy of as a king's kid, as an heir and joint heir with Jesus. As hard as that journey was, I have never experienced the peace I got when I finally chose me. Yes, Hunty, his peace really does surpass all understanding. And I would never exchange his peace in my life or sacrifice the freedom that he has given me again. I refuse to be a victim. Did I experience anger, shame, resentment, fear? Yes, that and so much more. But I chose to face them all so that I could overcome them. Once I got free, I refused to go back into bondage. I knew I had done nothing wrong to deserve any of it, despite the enemy trying to make us think it. We do not. We didn't do this or that. We didn't do this or that. That never happened. That's not our truth, because we don't own that. Remember, he is the father of lies, and no matter what he says to you, you must cast it down. Every imagination and every high thing that tries to exalt itself above what we know the word of God says about us. First, we must choose life. We have to choose life. Read Deuteronomy 30:15-20, and do what we have to do to keep our peace. We must set boundaries and know that it's okay to say no. Without boundaries, people will do and say whatever they want. Stop all the madness in your life by simply setting boundaries now. You will meet resistance and you may even lose some people, but that's okay. Remember that we teach people how to treat us by accepting what they say or do. We have to stop accepting things that we don't like and things that make us less than who we see ourselves as, and not allow people to place us in boxes.
Perfect. So while you were reading that, God told me something that I don't want to do, because every time I try to do something, nobody shows up.
Well, I gotta go.
But
I love y'all.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Love you. I'm done.
It's y'all finished. Don't stop, because I gotta go. Love y'all.
All right, I'll tell you about this tomorrow.
Okay.
But October is National Cancer Month. But I was gonna have a celebration during that time anyway, an event. But now he has changed it, and I have to have I'm gonna have a conference. And I need you to be one of my speakers. This is the crazy thing. I have no idea what he wants me to call it. I know it's going to be the weekend of my birthday, and I know that I will have 5 speakers, and you're one of them. And that's all I know. He hasn't told me anything else. So Coco will give me all of your logistics. And where do you live?
Michigan.
Okay. Oh Lord, how are we gonna get you here? But we'll figure something out. That's a long way away, and it gives everybody a chance to get themselves together and all of that. But yeah, Michigan is. We'll pick you up from the airport, and we'll make sure that we can help you with the finances to get here. God is gonna make a way. I don't know what he's doing. I have no clue. But this right here and what you talked about, that's a whole conference.
Mm-hmm.
And there my apostle will be a speaker, but there are 2 more women that are going to come out of the woodwork, and it's going to be on this particular thing. And I have no idea. She has a thing that she has. It's called "It Hurts Too Bad to Talk About It," and all of this just goes together. And so let me get off this thing and go do something with myself, because I'm so discombobulated. I don't even know whether I want to lay down or walk or scream or just put on some John P. Key and just shout in here. But either way, the neighbors are going to be disturbed. Let's just put it that way. Thank you so much. Thank everybody for coming. Thank one of my best friends from high school, Tara, for coming. Thank Felicia for coming. I'm trying to go down and think. Oh, caramel latte, honey. Put a little cinnamon on top. Hey, thank you, Felicia, for coming. Somebody else came and I hadn't seen them in a while. But yeah, I thank everybody for coming and joining us. Fred, that's my engineer. That's my baby. All right, Fred. Hey. But I thank everybody that came on. I think I missed somebody, and I apologize. I'm sorry. But we're out of here. This is the second time I've had a show that went over 3 hours when I said I didn't even want to come do the show. And that I think that's why. That's how you know that it's God, when it gels together and flows like that. So we'll be getting back with you more on this conference that I just talked about, because I forgot I was on air and I'm all in this lady business. So I have to talk to her. So I'm sorry. I literally forgot we on the live radio stuff. Well, we on the thing. Thank you so much. If anybody has any questions or they want to expound on anything that was said tonight and make it into another show, let's do that. As long as it's not about the fluid and LGBTQRS FVP people, I'm not ready for that yet. But anything else we talked about within the subject of accountability, if you have anything you want to make it another show, let's do that. And just meet me in the just come into my DMs and let me know, and we'll study on it. And hopefully, Coach Fee will not be busy and she can come back, and maybe we'll have some other people come back. Maybe Krisha will talk next time. At least she showed her face this time. We're making progress. All right, so go get the book. Amazon. It's called Mom. It's only $10.99 and $7.99 as an ebook. Get some merch. They tell me I don't do this enough, but anyway, it's the merch.
It's cute.
It says Uppity Negro, and I can design it in any design you want. I have pants. I got my own website, so go to uppitynegro.store and get you some merchandise. I even do. If I can reach it. I even have. I don't know what. I think these are the Maxine Waters. I even have Uppity Negro lashes. Good times. I got it, and a little pin to go with. Listen, I'm trying to do some stuff, because there's plenty of Uppity Negroes out here, and people acting like they're not. But anyway, so thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you for staying for 3 hours. Good God, who talks that long? Me. So appreciate y'all. I have to make a shout out. I don't have the card. I'll have it next time. Shout out for my nail tech. These nails and all these little thingies stay on. I can go a month and a half, and all you'll know is I need a fill in, but nothing falls off ever. I'll have Chandrika card. She's downtown on Meeting Street. Ever have whenever she's been doing my nails since I started driving truck. Ever have anything, nothing falls off. And so I was going to give her a shout out, and then I'll talk to you about the guy I drive for. He wants to be a sponsor for the show. And so we're still looking for sponsors, for people to sponsor the show, so that we can start doing like little giveaways and stuff. So that's it. I think I talked about myself enough. Coach Fee, you have any closing remarks, darling?
I do not. I just, other than to say thank you for allowing me on your platform. I appreciate that, and allowing me to speak to your tribe.
Yeah.
I always say that because these are your people that's following you, and that you have built up followers. And so allowing me to speak to your crowd, who God has given you to hear your voice, I appreciate being allowed on your platform. And also, if you want to follow me, I'm on all platforms. And
yeah, tell them.
I'll be either Coach Fee or Felicia Rochelle Donald Coleman, or Felicia Donald Coleman. One of those. You can find me on social media.
And if you have if you're going through trauma, or you've had trauma and you haven't had anyone to speak to, find a sister. Coach Fee, you heard what she has to say, and if you liked what she has to say, I think everybody agreed with the things go see her, become a client, do what you got to do to get yourself together and buckle your, because I promise you, the next time I go through something, I'm gonna call her.
Amen.
So let's uplift, and listen, these things are not free. Don't play with her. She has earned all of this, and her fee is her fee. That's how much she charged. We don't do discounts unless she chooses to.
Amen.
So this is not the hookup. She got bills to pay just like everybody else. So please don't start with that. We don't hook up when it comes down to business. And I don't like that know your worth, because you don't know your own worth. Diamonds don't know their own worth. Somebody tell them. You know how you show somebody their worth? You pay for what they do. Whole nother show. I'm done. So bye, y'all. Thank y'all so much for keeping me company. I'm going to my kitchen, eat me some. I made Alfredo, shrimp Alfredo with asparagus. It's freaking delicious, because I'm getting my taste buds back. Y'all don't understand. not having no taste for almost over a year, it's starting to come back a little bit. And now I'm showing off a little bit. So love y'all. See y'all next Tuesday. We have no idea what we're talking about, which is great. Unless you give me some ideas during the week. Let's do that. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Peace out.